Yeah, no, that buzzing that I kept hearing last week is gone too.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Bug's not here.
Yeah. I think it's fine to blame him.
Yeah. Especially because he's not here to defend himself.
Let's keep this in.
For sure.
Okay. All right. We blame Bug for any. If there was any audio, and now there won't be.
Right.
Ty's a professional. Not going to be anything wrong. But if there was, it'd be because of Bug, which is why he'll never be invited back on. Speaking of Bug swept through our studio with a million theories and a million little things that he pointed out about the way different characters behave and different, different pieces of the storytelling, the things that give little hints or little clues as to who might be the thing at any one given time. But I have a different theory, and we ran a little long in our discussion. I didn't want to tackle it.
Right.
But... here we are again.
Oh, yeah.
We're stepping up to motherfucking thing. It's different, but it's the same.
Right.
So I figured I would start our episode with what my theory is about who is or who is not the thing throughout the film.
I'm eager. I'm eager to hear it.
Yeah, my theory is a little bit more broadly sweeping. Here's my theory. They say in the thing, and they reiterate in this movie, that they estimate that the ship crashed 100,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. A long time.
A long time.
And we see it crash in the beginning of the first film in John Carpenter's. So my thought is, who is to say that that is the only one? Who is to say that's the only ship? Who knows?
It's been a long time. They could have visited.
Maybe it was a fleet. Maybe it was, and this one landed in Antarctica. And so it was frozen in the snow. But the other ones that landed, the one that landed, like, say, for example, in Angora, or maybe another in Seattle, or a third perhaps in Wales. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
A bunch of them landed 100,000 years ago.
Okay.
And they began to do what the thing do, right? It assimilated. It assimilated a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe life on Earth can kind of be traced back to, there's that branching off point where it's like the fish and the fish. Maybe part of that is the fact that all these motherfucking things landed. Now, is the ship piloted by the thing? Is it specifically like a thing's ship? For this theory, yes.
Okay.
Just fuck you. Yes, it is. But my thought is that there is no such thing as the human race.
Okay.
There's no such thing as Darwinism, no such thing as evolution, none of that. It's always been the thing. All people are the thing. You and I, things. Buddy the dog, he's a thing. Everyone.
Yeah, well, we proved that last week.
Yeah. Dylan's a thing. Dylan's a thing-ass freak. and Bug is the thing that caused our issue with the mics, which we will be getting financial repercussions
compensation for.
Yeah. It's
in this country.
Yeah, you're compensated for inconvenience, and he needs to learn his lesson. It's walking around being John and Bug and both of these. See, he's two things. He's a John and a Bug. The point that I'm making is that what happens throughout the movie of the thing is that the people, I'm doing big air quotes, people, their things, find out that, oh my God, this is, and it like fractures
one
their
of
mind.
our ancestors
Right.
crashed and got frozen.
But they don't realize that yet. And then they see like people split open and turn into meat, and a guy gets his arms torn off, and they're like, oh my God. And so the people that turn into the thing, they're not being infected at all. They're realizing.
They're waking up.
Yeah. They're having like existential crises and being like, oh shit, I'm one of them. We all one of them. We're all things. And so my theory is a simple one. Who is the thing at the end? Is it McCready or Childs? It's both. Who's the thing at the beginning? Is it any of them? Yes, it's all of them. What about this movie? Is Kate a thing at the beginning? Goddamn right she is. What about the dog? Always has been. That's the thing. Everything's a thing, brother. The trees, the birds, the bees.
Those are things too.
All things, brother. Matthew McConaughey in that one movie that I've never seen. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take that, but replace the words all right with the thing. And that's what my theory is.
Wow. Through Christ, all things are possible.
Hello, fellow things, and welcome to the Third Channel Podcast,
where we delve into the horror franchises you love from the perspectives of a lifelong horror fan.
And a newbie to the genre. I'm Thing J.
And I'm Derek.
Today, the only thing that we're here to talk about is horror. Now, if John Carpenter's The Thing was Thanksgiving, then this is Thingsmas.
Oh, I get it.
It's not because of a quality thing. I think we need to come right out and say this. I think we have the controversial opinion about this movie because typically people don't like this movie an awful lot.
Yeah, it much like the original John Carpenter's The Thing, or JC's The Thing, if you will. It didn't light up the world when it first came out.
No,
it was a big old flop.
What's funny is that a lot of the people that we've talked to about this, you just had a conversation with John Keogh, similar to this. A lot of people say the same thing, which is, I think I need to rewatch it because it's like, I think most people went into it. You said a sentence that stuck with me for a while for, this week that we've been kind of looking into and watching this movie is, this movie was made right at the tail end of the remake renaissance. All horror franchises were getting remade.
This comes out in 2011. And so we had just gotten the Friday the 13th remake in 2009 and the Nightmare on Elm Street remake in 2010.
Right. And I think generally people who haven't seen this see that it's not super well received. See, it is called The Thing and do not realize that it is a direct prequel. It has it has zero overlap.
Right.
It is a spiritual successor because it was made as a prequel and made by people who love it, the original, but it is not a remake in any way.
Right.
Which is another fascinating thing about this movie is the amount of people when you are like, well, what are you guys doing next? Like, oh, well, Thing 2011, like, oh, the remake. It's like, have you seen it? Because if you haven't and you don't really like to, it's perfect. I want to leave the John Carpenter's The Thing. I want to leave it alone. Fine. Totally understood. However, I think you and I both very much like this movie.
Yeah, I really do. I dig it a lot.
Which surprised me because my experience with this movie was a negative one. And something that was really crucial it was like a barricade that kept me from doing this stuff that we are doing now for a long time. And we'll get to that in just a second. But first, we have a little bit of housekeeping, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Derek and myself and a few Thing friends of ours.
Right.
Danny and Greg and Ryan.
Right.
We all got our weird cellular meat and we put it into human form and we went out to Sir Henry's.
Yeah, their haunted Christmas event.
Yeah, remember during Halloween we said we were going to come back and do their Christmas one.
We did it, guys. Somehow we pulled it off. We actually went on their opening night, which was December 5th this year. Happened to be Krampusnacht, which also happened to be the day that our Krampus episode debuted.
Which is crazy because you did not plan that.
Did not plan that.
Because you told me the day it was coming out, like, by the way, Krampus comes out today. Do you know what today is? I was like, yeah, it's Friday, dumbass. I threw a bottle at your head and you went to the hospital.
Yeah. I don't remember much after that, but I remembered enough of this event.
Yeah.
This is like the Halloween event for Sir Henry's runs, I believe the whole month of October, maybe a little bit into like the last week of September, but definitely October. This only runs for 2 weekends. So unfortunately, by the time that you listen to this, it will have been done for this year.
Which is exactly what happened when we did their Ghost Town.
Yeah.
It was, sorry, this is how it was.
Yeah. It's like a single weekend in that case.
Yeah.
Same thing with their Valentine's Day event that they've done in the past that I assume they will do again here this coming year.
Yeah.
It runs for 1 weekend. You have 2 nights typically to do it.
Yeah. Where Halloween has the 3 haunted trails, the hayride. It's basically the same event. They just take one of the trails away and they just operate the 2.
Yeah. But in the month's time from the end of
insane
Halloween, they have now reskinned these 2 of their haunts, like you said, 2 of their trails, and their haunted hayride into a haunted sleigh ride.
Now, the differences in the trails isn't huge.
No.
It's they're little set dressings.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, they don't change the set. The set is exactly the same.
Right.
But they change costumes and they change little set pieces here and there to theme it towards the event.
Yeah, the characters are all different that are milling about.
Yeah. We all went through the 2 trails first, then we did the hayride. And I'll be honest, I was like, well, okay, I can see how they they reskin it all. And then you do the hayride and it's like, how did they do this in a month?
Yeah.
Like,
That's where it's
crazy.
super impressive to me.
Even just the courtyard. Like they have this, for those of you who haven't been there, feel free to look at our Instagram. You can see what it looks like. We took a bunch of pictures and posted them there. But you've got like, it was very Krampus themed. So they got like a giant red-eyed Krampus and like it looks like a Frosty the Snowman, but is a person, but is melting, which is very on brand today.
Yeah.
Because that guy, like all of us, was a thing. But the, no, the whole event was great.
Yeah.
You bought a Sir Henry's Christmas shirt.
Yes, I've been because I think this is my 3rd year going to the Christmas event, and I had yet to buy one of the Christmas shirts. So I wanted to pick one of those up. They always do a fantastic job, like with their merch as well. Like we said before, it's like they get with kind of local vendors, local artists. There's a couple food trucks that are always there, so they partner with a lot of different people to kind of bring the community together to put this thing on, which is really nice.
Yeah, they have a partnership, and I think I talked about this during Halloween and the Gunslingers event, but so I'll keep it very, very brief. But they even have a local vineyard makes a cider for the event, which is very good.
But I don't know. I just think it is as easy as it might seem to just throw some lights and, some fake snow. It's like, it's the little things. In this case, this is a big thing. Whenever we went into, I believe it's a Very Strauss Christmas was the name of it. You go into that first, because it looks like a mansion. The facade is this old house, and you go into that first room, and there's the big staircase, and they have like garland and wreaths on the walls and things, and then you go around the corner, and there's like probably a 12-foot full-size Christmas tree that's completely decked out and lit in the next room, and it's like, oh wow, like.
You can just tell that from when it ends to when it begins, the people who run the event just spend the entire time putting the work back into it. It is so surprising and so like kind of visceral every time we go there that it's like, it's not amateurish at all.
Right.
It feels like they're doing it in a professional way until an 8-year-old hops out of a corner at you in a strobe light and screams bloody murder. And every time that happens, one of the people in our party looks at me every time it happens because it gets me, man.
It is the funniest thing I've ever seen. We turn this corner and there is this little girl.
Yeah.
Who is like, she has like this shaker thing with these jingle bells on it, and she's singing some twisted version of a Christmas carol of some kind. And just the look on your face of like, what is happening?
I am desensitized to everything. I can watch the most awful thing on earth and walk away from it and go eat like a disgusting looking food item and have no gastric distress. It just doesn't bother me anymore. What is the meme? This thing scares me. Oh shit, the thing. But no, it was just like, I don't know, man. You don't have homework or some shit. Stop looking at me.
Well, and it's how professional it is, but then how like you do have those kids and things like that. But then other times you round a corner and you see something where it's like, I don't think we'd ever see that at a theme park.
Yeah, for sure not. Yeah.
They pull off an impressive event every single time I go.
I mean, they've got bungee actors this year. They've got awesome. They have. I mean, it's all a dozen fake snow machines, really good, high quality, like animatronic props that you wouldn't expect in a trail like that. No, it's really good stuff. If you guys live in the area, definitely give them a follow so that you know where their next dates are. We are beginning to build a relationship with them, I think, where we've gone a couple times and have had like, posts and reposts, etc. So hopefully we'll be able to, kind of talk to them a bit more around the new year. I think Valentine's Day would be great because we could finally tell them how much we love them.
Oh, that's a good point.
But I don't love them kids. Do you remember the first time you saw this movie?
So 2011, I would have been living in Sarasota, I believe.
Oh, over the bridge, across the pond, eh?
Yeah, as they say. So I probably would have seen it, down there. I don't have a exact recollection. I know my feelings toward the end of the movie, like where you think the movie ends and you're just like,
Right.
oh, okay. And then the credits begin rolling. And then I'm like, oh, they're going to do it.
Right.
They're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember that feeling very, very well. And I think you had a similar reaction watching it just here the other day.
And this is way jumped ahead, but it's the gunshot sound as Lars shoots at the dog for the first time. It's like that, and it's very like they must have lifted that sound right out of that 80s movie or are using the exact same gun because it's the exact same noise. And it was just like, get the fuck out of here. Because the helicopter lands and you're like, oh, okay, cool. It's a setup. But it is like how Evil Dead 2 lines up to Army of Darkness so perfectly well that it's like, this might even just be a bit better. Because it literally is. If this film kept going for more than a second, it would just be the thing.
Yeah. There are like two shots. The last like 5 shots of the movie, 2 of them, I question watching it of like, did you just use from 82 or did you recreate this? I don't know.
It's always the dog in the snow. The way he's jumping through the snow, I can never tell.
Yeah. Which maybe is the point.
It probably is.
Thematically.
Well, I hope that it is. I hope that it is reused footage because I just think that if they had done that and we don't know, then they did their job right. Do you remember liking it the first time you saw it in its entirety, or did you just like kind of bits and pieces? Is this one that's growing on you?
I think my recollection is I think I've always kind of been on the side of this movie. I've probably said it before, but I'm not someone who automatically hates a horror remake.
Sure,
I try to give it the benefit of what it could be, what new thing they could bring to the table. And so during this era of that, it's like, okay, yeah, let's go see this movie of, it's a prequel of one of my favorite movies of all time at this point. And, in a weird way, like if you look at it on like a huge zoomed all the way out sort of scale, it's like, yeah, it's sort of a remake in that the similar things happen to a group of people, but it's not it is meant to be a prequel. There are only so many ways that this can go.
Yeah, it's like it's saying that Chapter 2 is a remake.
Right.
But it's like, no, Pennywise is a spooky monster clown. He's going to continue to terrorize people.
Exactly.
So
I think I've always kind of been on the side of this, and I felt like because I had this worry the week leading up to this, and I said this to you of like, I haven't watched this in several years.
Yeah.
And like the things that I keep reading online and kind of thinking about, and I'm like, oh man, maybe I'm wrong.
The way you said it made it sound like you were going to have to owe people apologies. You were like, I've defended this movie to a lot of people. And it's just like, I just imagine you in parking lots like, it's better than you fucking remember. And then you're watching it and they're like, we have to go get, and then somebody like Mary Elizabeth Winstead looks at the camera, The Thing. And you're like, I fucked up.
Why did I go to bat for this movie?
My closest childhood friend hasn't spoken to me since 2011 because of this movie. It's like, dude, why ever would it be that? Why would you ever be that violent about it? Because you threw a bottle at their head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned from the best.
First time I saw this movie was yesterday. But the first time I saw anything from this movie was probably about 10 years ago, somewhere around about a decade ago. It was new enough that it wasn't like, I don't think this movie ever became a cultural thing.
No, it still hasn't.
No, I don't think it probably will by this point. But it was the thing of, no, it isn't super, it's not super in the zeitgeist, but it's new enough that, clips of it are available. You can see it. There are people that would look for it. I went out of my way to avoid horror kind of just generally, but the original thing, I was interested in It must have been when the first season of Stranger Things was out, because it was specifically the line about melted bubblegum. And I was like, wow, oh my God, I didn't realize the thing was pink, which I know is stupid because you can paint that shit. But I was like, is the thing pink?
When you hear bubblegum, that's the first thing you think of is,
So searching YouTube to find it, what I found, unfortunately, wasn't from John Carpenter's. It was from 2011. And it was the face melding scene.
Oh, okay.
Right. Was the first thing from either of these movies that I saw was the faces coming together.
Gotcha.
And that fucked me up so bad that I wouldn't watch clips from The Fly. I wouldn't watch clips from anything. People who like our show, or just people who know me generally know that I don't fuck with zombie stuff.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with zombie stuff. This is going to be just such a stupid comparison. For the same reason I don't fuck with Kevin Smith's Tusk.
Okay.
I don't like a movie of an unfixable ending, like an apocalyptic ending, even for one person. I don't like that. I don't like something that happens to you, to your autonomy, to your agency that changes forever. Like a zombie apocalypse, you can no longer live your life. It is what you thought your life was either is now literally or metaphysically it's over. And so it's the same thing with Tusk, where the dude gets fucking surgeryed into a monster and will never go back to the way. Seeing those faces merge and like in that moment he's screaming and then just loses any form of consciousness out of his eyes. It's like, no, that's a fate worse than death. I cannot imagine that. And it turned me off of horror for a decade.
Yeah.
Like it is a Mount Rushmore reason that I will never fuck with.
You were already not on the horror train. And then the minute you were like, well, let's dip the toe. Let's just see. I watched the Stranger Things.
Right.
Let's see this.
That's exactly
right.
right.
Never mind. A decade. Never mind.
It is exactly that of like, well, this show's cute. And like, there's so much referential, like visual and, kind of aesthetic stuff and musical things and whatnot. It's like, well, okay, maybe I can handle the 80s or like the 70s, the 80s. Maybe I can handle that. And then I see that and I was like, no, I was right to avoid this. And honest to God, it was that and a handful of other things that I will save till we get there. One of them comes up in Texas Chainsaw, but I will save till we get there.
It's a good tease.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm never going to deal with this ever again. So surprise, surprise. Now, not only do I watch all this stuff, I watch this stuff like an addict. And now I'm doing a show about it once a week. And now we're talking about this fucking thing, The Thing. It's not human yet. When paleontologist Kate Lloyd travels to an isolated outpost in Antarctica for the expedition of a lifetime, she joins an international team that unearths a remarkable discovery. Their relation quickly turns to fear as they realize that their experiment has freed a mysterious being from its frozen prison. Paranoia spreads like an epidemic as a creature that can mimic anything it touches will pit human against human as it tries to survive and flourish in this spine-tingling thriller. Handful of weird things in that where it's like mimic anything it touches is wrong.
Yeah.
It's so close that it's like, okay, but that's all. Their experiment is freed. It's not an experiment. They just discovered it.
Yeah. It's very, there's a lot.
Yeah.
It went on forever.
Yeah. I ran out of breath and fucking died. It's long COVID. It killed me. Oh shit. The epidemic that they're talking about in this little thing where they spreads like an epidemic as a creature, blah, blah. They're talking about COVID, baby.
All the way back then.
Yeah. That's the lab that it got out from.
Oh.
Yeah. Wuhan, Antarctica.
Oh man. The Thing was released October 14th of 2011.
Oh.
Directed by, okay, here's the first of many.
Yeah. Really quickly, guys. This movie is made predominantly by a cast of Norwegian people. Derek struggles to get people's names right, and their last name will be like O'Toole. So good luck is all I'm going to say.
Yeah, sorry, Peter. Directed by Matthijs van Heijningen Jr. Yeah, please look at it and tell me how much.
Matthijs, I can see that, Van Heijningen.
Okay.
Heijningen
Okay.
Jr. I mean,
Yeah, that's probably
I'm not
closer.
going to do it much better.
Written by Eric Heiserer, produced by Mark Abraham and Eric Newman. The cinematographer is, I don't know if it's Michael or Mitchell Abramowicz. Abramowicz. Thank you. I always put the info.
Actually, I think that's Abramowitz. I think the
Oh,
CZ.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Abramowitz.
I'm a culturally traveled gentleman.
Yeah, I watch movies. They were also the cinematographer for a French action drama called Empire of the Wolves. Taken, the Liam Neeson 08 thriller.
Also a weird French action movie.
From Paris with Love, which was a 2010 action movie with John Travolta. That's the one where he's bald in it and he shoots that woman in the head.
In France?
I think it might have been.
Okay, we have a theme.
The Courier.
No idea.
I don't know. 2019 action thriller and Killer Influence 2024 horror thriller.
Okay, guys, if you've seen Courier or that last one and they're set in France, let us know.
Because we got him.
Well, no, because this one is not that.
Oh, right.
This movie is Antarctica and they're Swedes.
Norwegian, but yeah.
Did I really just do that?
You did. McCready. It's edited by Julian Clark, who was the editor for Neil Blomkamp's District 9, Elysium, and Chappie. Also the editor for Deadpool, Terminator Dark Fate, Eli Roth's Borderlands, and then also edited by Peter Boyle, who had done a sci-fi horror film from 1981 called Inseminoid, the Kevin Costner Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, Waterworld, also starring Kevin Costner, The Postman, also starring Kevin Costner, and then 1408, the Stephen King adaptation from 2007.
Is Kevin Costner in that?
No.
Okay, all right, cool.
Sam Jackson is.
Okay.
The budget for this film, do you remember what it was on John Carpenter's The Thing?
No.
Because it wasn't a lot. It was $15 million.
Okay.
This one is at $38 million.
Okay.
And then the box office,
I'd be surprised if they made that back.
they did not.
Yeah.
They made 31.5. So, again, we don't adjust for any sort of anything. So 19.6 is what Thing 82 made off of its 15, but this only made 31 on its 38.
So they both flopped.
Oh yeah.
That is so bizarre. By 2011, I mean, the Thing has been culturally relevant since like the late 80s, I imagine.
Yes, but I think strictly for horror fans. I don't think The Thing, I don't think John Carpenter's The Thing, especially at that point. I think it may have a wider reach now because of things like Stranger Things.
Right. But what I'm saying is even to horror fans, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Especially because, like you said, remake central, everything is being touched.
The problem is like if they're relying on fans of John Carpenter's The Thing to come out for this one in 2011, and then the majority of people believe that like, oh, why are you remaking the greatest horror film of all time?
That's
or
fair.
why are you touching the greatest horror film of all time in any way? I'm not going to see this.
Plus, if any of the footage of the monsters in the trailer,
I think this is one of those, like, it may have had an all right opening weekend and then word of mouth just killed it.
Yeah.
The director, who I am just going to call Matt.
Good.
I'm going to shorten his first name. I apologize.
You should name him Matt Director.
Yes. He was a Dutch commercial director, but he had done the Dutch short film, a thriller called Red Rain in 1997. Later, he does The Forgotten Battle in 2020, which was a Dutch war drama, and then a war drama miniseries in 2024 called De Just Rod. That may or may not be on Netflix. I can't remember. What's really sucks is that this guy didn't do more work because of his experience with this film.
I think that happens a lot with a lot of the people in this. And we'll get into that with the main cast. By the way, the way you said the name of that film sounded like you said The Juiced Rod, which sounds like a movie wherein you put steroids into your penis. Is that what it is?
I haven't seen it, but
Ladies
we can
and gentlemen,
assume.
go to Netflix and watch it. Let us know.
The writer, Eric Heiserer, Also wrote the Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 remake there.
Oh, no.
He was the writer on Final Destination 5. That's one that I actually like.
Oh, okay, good.
He was the writer on Lights Out, which was I think it's a Blumhouse movie that I didn't really care for. It's one of those ones that like started as a short film and then they were like, oh, we can make a feature.
Right.
And it
Night Swim, baby.
almost always works better as a short film.
Yeah.
But then he was also the writer on Arrival, the 2016 sci-fi film.
With Amy Adams. I like that
It was up
movie
for
a lot.
like Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Like, and then Bird Box on Netflix.
Haven't seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no,
That's a genuine. Really?
Carly watched it. I just that craze passed me. I did do the challenge and got absolutely decimated by a car, but thank God I'm just a amorphous pile of biomass.
Right, I forget that.
Guys, if these "we're the thing" jokes are doing it for you, leave a comment. I'm just hitting it hard in the paint with this one, guys. Leave a fucking comment. Let us know. If you guys think I'm saying leave a comment too many times, tell us in the comments below.
The producers, Mark Abraham and Eric Newman, they'd worked on a lot of things together. The Dawn of the Dead 2004 remake, Children of Men in 2006. They both worked on The Last Exorcism and The Last Exorcism Part 2, which were produced by Eli Roth. The RoboCop remake in 2014. And then Eric Newman has also worked on a couple other things with Zack Snyder or David Ayers.
Okay.
For Netflix, Bright and Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon movie. The music in this is done by Marco Beltrami, who had done Scream 1 through 4 with Wes Craven, as well as 3 other Craven films. He has scored 3 of Guillermo del Toro's films. He did Halloween H2O. He did the Omen remake in 2006, the Carrie remake in 2013. He's worked with James Mangold on 4 films. He did A Quiet Place 1 and 2, the Fear Street trilogy, and he is returning to do the music for Scream 7.
Okay.
So
he's great.
Yeah.
It is like Carpenter-ish. And which is funny because we talked about that in our last week's review on The Thing, where Carpenter didn't want to do the music. So we got an Italian composer, and the Italian composer who does all these Western movies was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to do a Carpenter score. So it's kind of similar.
And I believe some of that, I think the main theme.
Yeah. It's got to
like at the very beginning and the very end, it is used. But other than that, it's Beltrami as far as I'm aware.
And it sounds good. It sounds odd and ethereal, but also.
It's a little action movie at times.
Yeah. But I think that fits for this one.
Oh, yeah. So development for this film, after the success of the Dawn of the Dead remake, producers Mark Abraham and Eric Newman, they began to look through the Universal Studios like library to find other properties that they might be able to work on. Obviously, finding John Carpenter's The Thing, they had convinced them they had convinced Universal to let them create a prequel instead of a remake because they thought that remaking Carpenter's film would be like, quote, painting a mustache on the Mona Lisa.
Fair.
It's a great film, but once they realized that there was a new story to tell with, in that same world, but from a different point of view, that's where they went with it. It's the story of the guys who are just ghosts in the Carpenter movie. And so they gave them, Universal gave them the chance to tell that story. In early 2009, Matt, the director, became involved with the project when his first planned feature film. So originally he was going to work on a sequel to Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, which was going to be a zombie film taking place in Las Vegas, which was going to be written and produced by Zack Snyder, called Army of the Dead. That got canceled about 3 months before the production was supposed to start. It has now been made by Zack Snyder as a movie that he released on Netflix in 2021.
Isn't what's his name, Batista, in that? Yeah, okay. I've seen stuff about it.
Yeah, he's one of the best parts in that movie. So once that got canceled, he basically had to start over again. He asked his agent if there was any development on a project that had to do with either The Thing or Alien, since either of those were his favorite films. And so as a fan, he was very interested in this. And being European, he had always wondered what had happened at that Norwegian camp. So he kind of became the perfect person to slot in there. In March of 2009, producer Moore described his script as the script as a companion piece to Carpenter's film and not a remake. Eric Heiserer was then later hired to do a complete rewrite of Moore's script. His original draft, it was very clear who would be the thing. And so in those rewrites, it was decided that the audience shouldn't know who was infected in order to add to the, sense of paranoia closer to the original film. He had to do a lot of research into what had been revealed, any information they could glean from the Norwegian camp scene in the first film, down to the smallest detail. So that they could work it into the story of the backstory of this prequel.
Yeah, and we'll get into it, but they do that very, very well.
Yes. The director explained that he had created the film not to simply be a horror movie, but also focus largely on the human drama and interaction between the characters, like the first film had. He felt that they worked better, like films work better that way, even horror films, whenever you get to spend some time and explore the characters' emotional journeys, because it causes you to care about them. They're not just cannon fodder.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had drawn additional inspiration from the original novel, who goes there in making these characters educated scientists instead of the kind of blue collar workers that are in John Carpenter's The Thing. They didn't take any influence from the Thing video game, which followed The Thing years later.
Which I didn't know existed until last week.
Yes, there is. Very recently, they have done an upgraded reskin of it. Or they may have built it from the ground up again. I don't know, but it's available out there now. I've never played it. I know Bug has. And it's one of those things that like John Carpenter said, like, oh yeah, that's canon. But you have to take that with
because he's an asshole.
Grain of salt. But the director also took some inspiration from Alien when creating this as another one of his favorites, because casting, a female lead and then having them be, not like, it's not about a relationship. They're not a sexual storyline in this.
Yeah.
It's just she takes charge and becomes like our lead.
She is smart enough, charismatic enough, and confident enough that she is able to kind of circumvent the other egos in the room, and is the only reason, well, I was going to say she's the only reason that any of them survive, but she's the only reason she survives.
The film was shot in the anamorphic format on 35 millimeter film, because the director, he doesn't like the way that film looks shot digitally. He also chose not to like fast cut the film. He tried for a slower pace, hoping to build, a sense of dread and tension like the original. It was filmed at the Pinewood Toronto studios from March of 2010 to June of 2010, as well as they had shot in British Columbia, I believe, for some of the outside stuff. On set, they had a laptop with like countless screen captures from the original film so that they could like beat for beat break down what the Norwegian camp looked like and recreate it there, just as closely as they could.
Yeah.
So the special effects is it's where a lot of the sticking points, I think, for most people land.
Yeah. I would say it's probably the most glaring negative about this movie.
And there's this is where the sad part of the story comes to me, is that the special effects were done by Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff Jr. They had worked under Stan Winston on several things before kind of meeting, and they created their own company called Amalgamated Dynamics, or ADI. And so they are known for creating practical creature effects. They've worked on the Tremors films from Alien 3 on. They've pretty much done all the Alien stuff. They worked on Death Becomes Her. They did the animatronics in Jumanji. They worked on Starship Troopers, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films.
Oh, okay.
They did work on from The Predator on.
Okay.
They've done all the Predators, so Prey, Predator Badlands, they've done work on.
They basically did a bunch of stuff until Weta came and took their jobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
the legendary Godzilla films and the Smile films.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
The weird part.
So I'm a big fan. But in addition to creating the visual effects for the human thing transformations, they also had the challenge of kind of coming up with what the look of the alien in the ice block would be. They had initially only intended to kind of show that in silhouette, but the director liked the designs well enough that he kind of encouraged them to fully create the creature and figure out what that thing would look like. And so they had used
One really quick, I do appreciate the fact that even though it was intended for just silhouette, they kind of only show it in silhouette. You get glimpses, but it reminds me of the Norwegian camp scene in the original thing where you only see bits and pieces. You never see the whole. And so your mind can kind of put it together. You see the whole ice block, but you only get flashes of detail here and there. It's pretty unnerving.
Yeah. Because you can't quite put it together in your mind of how the things you're seeing, the pieces you're seeing, how it goes into a creature.
Like even when it escapes and you kind of get a better look at the whole, even when it's dead and on the tape, you still don't really get a good enough way to look at it that your mind can put it together. It's kind of eldritch in that way, and I like that.
They used the cable operated animatronics instead of the more like complex like hydraulic controls that would be used. It gives it more of an organic feel, and then to also emulate the creature effects from the original film. So they used kind of traditional stuff whenever possible, and then the film's CGI elements were then created by Image Engine in the visual effects house that had worked on Neil Blomkamp's District 9.
Okay. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. Originally those all the CGI stuff was going to be extensions of the practical animatronics, as well as like the digital matte painting, set extension, things like that. Things that CGI is used for in every single film that no one notices.
Right. Things that Carpenter would have used CGI for if given the opportunity, if it had existed. I don't think he would have chosen to do, well, I don't know, maybe, because there is a sort of charm with a matte painting, but I don't know if he could have created the spaceship or created a more in-depth, camp, flesh that out a bit more. I don't think he would have not done it because it's not artistic.
Right.
I think that's plenty artistic.
Yeah. Alec Gillis has stated that the advancement in animatronic technology since 1982, combined with those digital effects, allowed them to expand upon the possible kind of creature conceptions. The director, obviously, with his love of wanting to shoot on film, he obviously also preferred the practical effects over the CGI, believing that the actors gave better performances whenever they could actually see something in the room with them.
Sure.
Well,
the guy who plays Adam mentions the fact that when seeing one of the finished props that included his face, he was like, I cannot stand next to it. And he had to leave because it was like physically turning him ill. And I think that's really, I agree with that. I think sitting and looking at something that makes you so fucking uncomfortable, you can't be in a room with it and you're supposed to give a fear performance at it. Yeah. It's better than a tennis ball.
That's the example they give.
Yeah.
So the film was originally set for release in April, but then Universal Pictures changed the date to an October of 2011 release to allow time for reshoots. Now, again, this is something that people always hear. Oh, they did reshoots on this. That must mean the movie's bad. It's like, no, every movie has reshoots. Every movie goes back for other pickups later on. This is one of those cases where unfortunately, that little thing that you hate called studio meddling?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot
they
of that
watched
here.
the movie and then had a bunch of shitty, stupid notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, so they, an official studio press release stated that the intention of these reshoots was to, quote, enhance existing sequences or make crystal clear a few story beats or to add punctuation marks to the film's feeling of dread. So apparently Universal had done test screenings with different audiences and focus groups. And so the reaction the studio interpreted the people's responses as negative in a lot of different places. And so in response, many of the scenes involving character development were either cut from the film or reshot to be shortened. They didn't like the slow boil pace of the film. They wanted to get to the creature stuff a lot sooner. So it's like within, I think, 20 minutes, we're already to the monster.
It is like whip crack fast. Yeah.
Another concern from test audiences was that the use of, and this one bothers me more than anything, because it's like I can be upset with the studio, but I am just as upset with whoever the idiots were
that tested this way.
Because their response was that the practical effects made the film look too much, quote, like an 80s movie. And so in response, the decision was made to replace most of the film's practical effects with CGI. But since the film was already basically shot, that means that they just painted over the practical effects that were already there. So much so that you lose 90%.
I would argue that you lose it all. I looked in our last viewing, and I concede that it can't be 100%.
Right.
But I looked.
There are certain things that I can notice just looking at the practical effects that I have seen. And then that's why I'm saying 10% of that being the leftover.
What a waste of money for such an for such an not important note. Feels like an 80s movie.
Mm-hmm.
We have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to paint over all of the props that we spent millions of dollars on. We have to erase all of it. All of those man hours, all of that creativity and work. I fucking hate. Did you say this is Sony?
No, this is Universal.
Oh, this is the same sides of a very greedy, shitty coin.
Mm-hmm. It is sad. In post-release interviews, Alec Gillis, he's revealed that while, Amalgamated Dynamics, like their creature designs that they made for this movie remained mostly intact, which it bothers me, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. It's like they kept the design the same. So it's not like they painted over it with something that looked completely different. It's like, no. They painted over it with a digital version of the physical thing that they built.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wonder if any of that footage exists.
I wonder. You see little bits of it, obviously, in the behind the scenes. Now, what they did do is Alec Gillis then in 2015 released an independent horror film called Harbinger Down, which has a very similar sort of storyline of like people in the Antarctic finding a creature in the ice and it getting loose on their ship and attacking them. And it's fully practical.
Okay.
So it's like he took that team and we're like, let's put this to good use. And I don't think it's the same props. I'm sure they built their new props and stuff because legally they probably couldn't.
I just wonder, because this doesn't have enough buzz around it, but it would be really cool if Arrow was like, oh no, we're going to release a special version of this movie with all of the original, practical stuff because it's under the CG. It's still there, but it's probably not mastered.
There is a huge outcry online. There has been for years, and it started up even more after the Snyder Cut stuff with Justice League.
Yeah.
Of release the original version of this film. Yeah. Let them finish it and put it out because that is what the people actually want.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, there's this argument because there's a lot of the end of this movie that got reshot because it wasn't even just the CGI that got changed. Some of the scenes that were shot and refilmed 2 weeks before the opening in theaters. And since the additional CGI visuals were then also needed to replace those effects, they were still working on that up to less than 24 hours before it hit its theatrical release. The only way that works now is in a digital age where they can just press a button and send the
update patch to whatever. Yeah.
And so,
man, that is real stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about that is stupid. Because that I think, and it's not a surprise. Anybody that talks about this movie talks about that one thing. We are probably very boldly in that camp of the biggest thing wrong with this movie is that it looks digitally gross. Not gross as in good and yucky and horror. It looks gross. It looks bad. It looks shiny and not real.
It looks dated in the wrong ways.
Yes. Yeah, because you can't date a fucking puppet. Kermit from the original Muppet Show looks exactly the same as Most Wanted, looks exactly the same as whatever. He's a fucking green felt frog. But the second, any of these animated movies, the first Shrek movie is dated. They're all dated. Animation that is digital will always have a timestamp because your brain just catalogs, oh, this looks like the stuff around this time period. Why didn't they just make the thing a puppet?
Well, Yeah.
Like a critter, like a hand puppet.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love
Release that cut.
Release the critter cut.
Dude, release Thing 2011, but paint over all of the bad CG with just like mashed up Muppets. It's like Kermit's face with Gonzo's nose sticking out of it, but it's got Miss Piggy's eyes going in different directions. And it's like, and everyone's like, what the fuck? We got to get out of here. We can't, you old fool. We're frozen to the seats.
I'm trying to decide if I need to go on or if that could just be the end of my life.
What the fuck's happening to us?
It attacks its prey. Copies it perfectly. And then hides inside it. Waiting.
Is it still among us?
Could be any of us.
We gotta get out of here.
Yeah, right now.
And you could be getting in a vehicle with it. You'd be alone. Vulnerable. That's exactly what it wants. Not to mention you'd be giving it a way out of here. A way to spread. It's like a virus. So what do we do with any virus?
Quarantine. We isolate it, and then we kill it.
Yeah.
This is just as... That's the thing, is that when they give these characters room to breathe and room to be expressive and fearful, I mean, this scene is... The score is good.
Mm-hmm.
It's... What this movie has is that sense of dread. It does not have the sense of suspense.
Right.
It
No,
does-
that's a good distinction.
It does. It's dreadful and depressing and you know, just sort of melancholy, but it's not, there's not that sense of like digging earworm paranoia. This movie reminds me a lot of Fede Alvarez's Evil Dead.
Mm.
In that it is a spiritual successor to the original. Now, Evil Dead, Fede Alvarez is just a complete total. That's the Evil Dead, yeah.
No, the original is the drop the.
Okay, great. I'm not even going to stop to correct myself over the word the, but it reminds me a lot of that movie in that it feels so similar.
Mm-hmm.
And the look is fairly updated, and the characters, the actors are younger, and they look nicer because the film is better, and blah, 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 blah. You have all these big distinctive changes, but the biggest change is that it doesn't feel exactly right.
Right.
And the reason is because you can emulate the story beats, you can emulate the setting, you can emulate character traits, character growth, character journeys. You can integrate the monster. You can do everything the same, but you're not John Carpenter. You're not Sam Raimi. You're not the person that made The Thing what that movie would become.
Yeah.
And I literally am saying The Thing this time, by
Right.
the way. And because as good as Evil Dead is, because it's very good. I think it may be my favorite horror remake. It's either that or Friday the 13th. It's just not the same.
Right.
This fireplace scene, or I say fireplace, they're burning a corpse and standing around it in the snow. But as similar as this is, and as much as the beats that we hold on are the same, MacReady's speech comes with a sense of like this like blank and like hopeless future where this almost sounds hopeful.
Mm-hmm. Like, we're going to figure this out and we're going to cut out the cancer.
And that might just be the difference between the writing of Kate Lloyd versus Jared MacReady, because MacReady is not hopeful. He is not an inspiring leader. He is like, let's get this fucking shit done or die. Either way, I'm tired of doing it.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about this movie is, and I think your comparison there with Evil Dead is pretty good, because it is one of those things where it's like, yeah, this feels like we're hitting a lot of the same beats. We're in a very, we're almost in an identical setting, but because the people who made it are fans of the original, and they can then take those elements and they can twist them a little bit to be like, you think you know where the story is going. It's not. It's over here instead. Or these are how these, they're going to mix the characteristics of these two characters, or the person that you feel like is more like McCready is more like this person actually, and things like that. So it does keep you guessing in those senses. It kind of works. It kind of doesn't at points. I think they try they try several times to make you go, you think this person is the thing.
Yeah.
And this person is actually the thing. And then, but like they never leave you hanging for any amount of time.
No, and I wonder if that's because of the interference now.
Could be.
Because, and we'll get to it very quickly. It's the first big reveal, but boy, oh boy, is that stupid. Yeah. It's the plot point I have the biggest problem with. Something I like about this, we've talked about this show. Well, I've talked about this show before. I don't think you've seen it yet. It's a Peacock original show with Natasha Lyonne called Poker Face. And it's about a woman who is like a pseudo private investigator. She can tell when people are lying. They don't explain how. That's just the rule about the show. And I really like that show. One of the things that they do with that show is it's like sort of flashback and like kind of A-B timeline. But the way the episode works is really interesting because the B timeline is told from the perspective of the murderer or the victim, whatever the mystery of this is about. It's by Ryan Johnson. And that's the B storyline, but you start with that storyline and it walks you through what they do. And then it cuts back to the beginning of that story. And we find where our protagonist was the whole time as that was going on. And that's the second act. And then retreading that ground, but with our protagonist. And the third act is the mystery gets solved. Yeah. I like this movie for the same reason, which is this is just doing the B side of this. And you being such a big fan of this movie, like I'm assuming the people, because we have a lot, people are very happy that we're talking, or that we talked about The Thing.
Oh yeah.
Big favorite of obviously a lot of people's. And so knowing that movie intimately, and there are so many times where you do the fucking Leo DiCaprio, Quentin Tarantino movie where he's snapping at the TV. Yep. But it's never, it doesn't beat you with it at all.
Right.
It's fun. And the very first example of that is how the movie opens. And it is, I didn't know what to expect to see how the movie was going to open, but for it to be referential of the spaceship is wild.
Yeah.
That's where you're starting this one is, it's no, holy shit, is this an alien? It's like, no, you start by pulling the Band-Aid off of going, yeah, there's a fucking spaceship in the ice.
Yeah, good point.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, because we start with a kind of a title card again of Antarctica, winter of 1982. So we know exactly when and where we are. And then there is a, I believe they call these things snowcats. It's a big, because it's not like a snowmobile. It's not a snow plow.
It's like a big van, like an access van. It's just got treads instead of tires.
Yeah. And it's driving across the snow and ice following a signal. And it's just this like beeping noise. And they're, this is our Norwegian cast. And they stop whenever they end up like right on top of it. And then the snowcat breaks through that ice and becomes lodged in this like crevasse there with their lights illuminating something down below. And that's your title reveal of The Thing.
I like the way that they do the pay homage with the title of it burning through.
Yeah.
That like, it always looks like a piece of film burning.
So in the original, basically it is. It's almost like they had the thing on like a piece of glass to where that was cut out, the words, the thing, the way that it's written in the original, 51, Thing from Another World. And then they had a black piece of plastic, almost like a trash bag behind it. And they had that in a fish tank, I believe, full of like smoke. And then they burned it away. And so really with cool light shining through it so that you can then see the title reveal.
We didn't really talk about that last week, but man, John Carpenter is cool at making weird, trippy intros that you don't need to have done in the way that he does. But he finds an interesting thing to do with a title card. And I like that.
I mean, that's a good point that I'll go ahead and say is like, we talked for nearly 3 hours about John Carpenter's The Thing. We barely scratched the surface on anything. We could talk forever about that movie. Yeah. So, same thing with, that's how I felt about John Carpenter's Halloween.
Yeah.
Something about this guy's work. He's, you know,
But this movie does it in the same way, but it doesn't feel, again, none of the things, it all feels respectful. This movie does not feel like a ripoff. This
Right.
movie feels like something made with, it's Evil Dead. It feels like, that's why I made the comparison. It feels like it is made with adoration, with the utmost respect, but it feels like it's been made by somebody who is just a mega fan.
and that's why I think people should give it another shot if they, you know, didn't necessarily love it originally.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We are introduced to our American cast. So 48 hours after that discovery, them falling through the ice, Dr. Sander
Dr. Sander,
Halverson is his last name, but they call him Sander the whole rest of the film.
our obvious bad guy.
He is the bad guy.
Yeah.
And then his assistant, Adam Finch, they show up and recruit American paleontologist Kate Lloyd to investigate this thing that they have found. Kate Lloyd, like I said, is a paleontologist. She's played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who has had several like genre roles over the years. She is in the unrated cut of The Ring 2. Apparently, she must be in scenes that were cut out of the theatrical version. She was in Final Destination 3. I think that's where most people kind of discovered her for the horror side of things. She is in Black Christmas, the 2006 remake.
Oh, yeah,
She's
she
in
is.
Death Proof, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. She was in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. And she is in 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is an absolute favorite of mine.
That is, I think, the best performance she ever has given. This is a good performance as well. This is another person, though, that I think their career might have taken an unfortunate, like, knee-breaking somersault because of this movie.
It's possible. There's a handful of people in this movie where you're like, oh, I've seen them in like 3 or 5 other things, but like they're not like the big name anything.
No, but this feels like the movie that was supposed to get them there, and then it doesn't.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Adam.
Adam Finch plays Dr. Saunders' assistant, played by Eric Christian Olsen. He was in, I know him from Not Another Teen Movie, which is a kind of like a scary movie, parody movie, but about like teenage rom-coms.
Sure.
He was in Dumb and Dumber, the prequel to the Jim Carrey film.
Oh, God.
He was in the thriller Cellular. And then I think where you know him from.
Yeah, I know him as Vaughn, Britta's boyfriend, and then ex-boyfriend, and then Annie's boyfriend, and then Annie's ex-boyfriend, the little nippled hippie from Community.
Yeah. He did a 4-episode stint in Community. I hardly recognized him in this without his shirt being off.
It was the first line he said. I was like, man, I'm getting rid of Britta. And it was just like, I love that. I loved it so much. But that's another one that's like, oh, you went from being like one of the leads in this movie to being like, you're a little nippled freak.
Yeah. Yeah, because outside of this, he's mainly done comedies.
Yeah.
He's worked with the Broken Lizard guys before, things like that.
I forget that those people are like a group.
Yeah. And then Dr. Sander Halverson is a Danish alien researcher. He's played by Ulrich Thomsen. He was in Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven in 2005. He is in the Hitman like video game adaptation with Timothy Oliphant. And then he was in another, I think it's a video game adaptation of Season of the Witch in 2011 with Nick Cage and Ron Perlman.
I didn't know that was a video game adaptation. I saw that in theaters. A buddy of mine and I used to go to the movies every so often. It was Citrus Park Mall had a movie theater. We would go there. And I don't know why. It was one of those that was like, that looks fun. I like Ron Perlman. You want to go see that? And we did. And I have never been angrier leaving a movie theater.
Wow.
Have you seen it?
No.
It is the worst movie I've ever seen.
That's what I've heard.
And I paid top dollar to see it.
Wow.
$40 a ticket.
Wow,
It came with a steak dinner.
Okay. Was the steak good?
No.
Oh. Was it also thing meat?
Everything's thing meat, brother. We cook parts of ourselves and eat ourselves.
That's hot.
Until we go to thing heaven. Or thing hell.
This scene is very much to me like John Hammond showing up to the dig site in Jurassic Park and getting Dr. Alan Grant and Sadler to come check out his park.
To the point where you pointed out that behind Mary Elizabeth Winstead is a like vinyl on the wall of a T-Rex, like skeleton.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like
Do you
that's
think it's on
got to be intentional.
Yeah.
The information here, like in most Jurassic Park movies where they're tricking people into coming to the park, is that, you know, I can't give you any information, but you're the right person for the job.
She goes, she has an interesting thing. She's like, you can understand why I will need more information. Like, I can't just leave to go to Antarctica. You need to tell me what I'm doing. And he's like, all due respect, I cannot do that. You are either coming with me and you're giving me your decision right now, or you're staying here. And she's like, okay, I'll go.
Yeah. There seems to be some sort of like prior thing between her and Adam.
Yeah, they seem to know each other to a professional degree.
Yeah, they don't explore that any other way.
Probably because he wasn't up to the task of any kind of serious performance. He's good at screaming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like him in this.
I don't really
He's
like him in
the
this
weak
either.
link. He's good at being a coward.
But he sticks out.
He does.
Like everyone else, like in a good and a bad way, everyone else, I have to sit there and go, okay, who is this character? Who is this character? And it's like, oh, well, there's Adam.
That's the thing. In the original, even McCready, who is the one that sticks out the most, doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
They all feel like they belong together.
Mm-hmm.
And they do in this one too, really well. The Americans and the Swedes, the way they work together, it feels like they work together, except this guy.
Yeah.
He's a big pile of shit. No, it's fine. Like I said, he's good at being a coward, but
Yeah.
he isn't good at being a real character.
Yeah, he doesn't add much more than that.
You know what else? He's the caricaturist character that they have in this movie. Everybody else is pretty grounded.
Yeah. We're introduced to our pilots. Sam Carter is played by Joel Edgerton. He is in several things, but he was Owen Lars in Star Wars episodes 2 and 3.
He was.
He was in a movie called The Gift, which was a kind of a horror thriller. I have not seen it yet, but he also wrote and directed that film. And then he was in the kind of atmospheric horror It Comes at Night in 2017.
I know him from, he plays Tom, the shitty husband in the Gatsby movie with Leo DiCaprio.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Another movie I saw with that guy in the exact same theater.
Oh, yeah?
I'm just saying, man.
Wow. Did you enjoy that one more?
Yes, infinitely more.
Was the steak better?
It didn't come with a steak dinner, but it only cost $8. to
Oh,
get in.
okay. I guess that's the trade-off.
Yeah, but they had to kick you a little bit. It's
Yeah.
a weird theater, man.
It's really weird.
That's why it's close.
Yeah. Derek Jameson is the co-pilot. I am sorry, sir, because I respect you and your work. I am going to butcher your name.
I think his first name is Adewale.
Adewale Akinoi Abaji is how I would pronounce it. He is Nigerian. He was in The Mummy Returns. He was in Thor: The Dark World. He is in David Ayer's Suicide Squad. He plays Killer Croc.
Does he really?
Yes.
Amazing.
And then I think the thing that we most know him from
Yeah.
is he played Mr. Echo in Lost.
To the point where every time I see him, because he pops up in things
Yeah,
here and there.
yeah.
Every time he pops up, it's like, is that Mr. Echo?
It is. He's a fan favorite in that show.
Yeah. I think my favorite part of that show is him and Ben Linus. Well, everybody's favorite part is Ben Linus.
And if it's not, it should be.
Yeah. Fun fact about me, Ben Linus, his actor, that's my fan cast. Even now, when he's a little bit older, that's my fan cast for Mr. Freeze. And anything with live action Batman, I think he'd be very good.
He would. I agree. And then their crew chief member is Griggs, played by Paul Braunstein. He was in Jigsaw in 2017.
He's the guy. Oh my God, you're right. He's the guy with the fucking bucket on his head. Well, they all have the buckets on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Holy shit. Okay.
He was in Shazam in 2019.
Oh.
And then he's in a 2024 sci-fi action film called Fight Another Day. But yeah, they are flying them to the Norwegian base, which is called Thule base. Sam
Not to be confused with the Zool base, which is that's a different thing.
Sam Carter warns them of like basically do whatever you're doing, because they also have not been told what's happening.
No.
And it's like, do whatever you're doing and leave as soon as you can, because there is a huge storm coming.
Which again, that benefits the plot of this movie. It gives everybody, it immediately sets up there's an urgency. Whatever it is that we are doing, we are now a group of people that are, for a majority of us, meeting for the first time, but we all are on the same page. We need to get the fuck out of here in a couple of days. But that's also a really good tie-in to the original, and it's effortless. It's not important. They don't do because you pointed this out to me, because I said, I think the way they handled this in this movie is so great. You're like, which is funny because you normally don't like that. And you're right. I usually don't like the member berry sort of like, look at this from the original, right? But they work everything from the original that they're referencing into the story of this one. So it pays off twice. It's set up and pay off in this movie isolated. And then it pays off in what would then be the original. It's great.
Yeah.
They don't wink and nod at it.
Right.
It's just, it happens. You move on. And if you know the original, you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And that's it. That's their whole relationship with these Easter eggs. And I love it.
Yeah. I think that that's handled very, very well in this. I also think like the writing, I think, is very strong in that way. The way that they talk about on the special features is that they used a couple different analogies, but either that this was like, looking at the original Norwegian camp, it was like, this is like a crime scene and we now have to walk backwards and give what we believe led us to this point.
Yeah.
And
they do it well.
I think the director used the analogy of like, it's like performing an autopsy on that original movie to then figure out what caused, the damage.
Which makes sense because this, with the autopsy in this movie, this series has 3 whole autopsy scenes. That's a lot of autopsies. But yeah, we and the beginning of this, and I now understand it's because of a studio note. I was going to say it's almost a little too fast. It's like you don't have time to catch your breath.
Yes, there was extra stuff at the beginning that was going to be here that all got trimmed out.
Yeah, because they're like, okay, you're here, you're landed, put your stuff down, let's go.
Yeah.
And they go to an ice cave where we meet Edvard,
Holner, who's the station chief, played by Trond Espen Seim. He apparently is what did they call him in
the Brad Pitt?
Yes, he is in a 12-film like detective series called Varg Veum, and he plays the title character. So apparently he's like I don't know if that's like a 007 character over there.
That's pretty cool,
or, something like that. But yeah. And then they meet Edvard and his right-hand man Peter, who's played by Sting Henrik Hoff, who was in 2012 historical drama called Into the White, and In the Order of Disappearance, which is a crime comedy from 2014. Most of the rest of this cast are Norwegian, and so I have written down a couple things like that was listed as their top credits, but I have no idea what they are.
Sure. That's the other thing. Everybody is pretty good. Everybody's very believable.
Yes.
But they kind of walk through this little ice cave that's been dug out, and you see a digital painting of the ship from the original. Much better detail. I won't say better, much more detail.
Yeah, because you're closer to it. It's lit differently because it is still encapsulated. It's under a shelf of ice. And so it's both darker, but you can see more because it's not covered in snow.
I don't know. I mean, the hatch and just a few pieces are all you can see.
Yeah.
It's a little too slick of a prop for me. I prefer the way that the painting made it look almost Star Warsy, sort of like bolty. I mean, you see it in the beginning. It's a fucking flying saucer in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I like that more. I think that I like that this is very like Tron Legacy-ish.
Yeah.
It's like sleek.
It makes me think of the ships in like the Lost in Space early aughts film. There's a reason for once they get into the ship toward the ends of the movie, like there are reasons why it's designed the way that it is.
Yeah. It's also much bigger than I thought it was in the beginning.
Right.
Like in the original. It doesn't look huge, but like you can see the hatch pretty much from anywhere. In this, it's like that would be impossible.
Yeah.
All that to say, they then find the
Frozen
actual
specimen.
Yeah. And they ask how long it would take to cut out. And Kate is like, I don't know, a couple hours if you've got the right tools.
Yeah. She gives about half a day, which is another theme that I caught carried over into this of like, they do a good job of like 48 hours ago, this happened. Well, how long would this take? Oh, about half a day. Oh, well, the storm is going to get here in 2 days, you know, things like that. They give you the time breakdown. So, you know, about how long, which like this movie, I feel like happens in the course of a couple days.
Yeah.
And I said that about John Carpenter's like, well, it feels like it's like 3 days, and really it's probably closer to like a full week.
Yeah, but this one feels like an afternoon.
Yes.
It's blisteringly fast.
Yeah. And even as like, because I think Bug said it, like whenever the shit goes down in 82, like, and from here on out, we're just like, everybody's out for it, and we're heading to that finale, and like we're there. It's like, no, this is like, as soon as it's revealed, it doesn't stop. Nothing stops. Everything's out in the open.
Yeah. Which they then bring it to their base camp, Thule, and which sounds like a villain name.
Yeah.
I am Thule. It's probably because of Zool, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. They theorize like, you know, why the specimen might have crawled out of the ship. Sonder, he tells Colin, who's the radio guy,
Operator. Yeah.
To like not radio anything. Don't let any of this get out. They don't want, you know, this is their find. They need to keep it to themselves.
That's why Saunders the bad guy.
Capitalism, baby. Yeah. Jonas is the ice. He's an ice researcher there. He's played by Christopher Hivju. He is the other actor who we actually know from things.
Yeah.
He was in After Earth in 2013, the Shyamalan film. He is in Fate of the Furious, which is the 8th in that franchise. He is in Cocaine Bear in 2023. And then what most people know.
He's famously Tormund Giantsbane in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
He's my favorite part of that show.
He's the best part of everything he's in.
He's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's funny because in the behind the scenes, they're talking about him and they're like, yeah, he's a literal Viking. You can see the old drawings of Vikings walking around in front of you, but apparently he's just the best person in the world.
Yeah. He's everything that I've seen and read about that dude. He just seems great.
Yeah. I bet he's got a big old hog.
Probably does.
That he butchers every year for Christmas to give his family a ham. And he's got a big penis. Now, everyone saw that rug pull coming. They didn't see that rug getting pulled by his penis.
Wow.
It's very big.
Dr. Sander, he wants to take a tissue sample, and Kate doesn't think that's a good idea.
Just like the audience. We all go, wait, what? And she goes, wait, what? And he goes, he like takes her out of the hallway. Again, obvious bad guy. And he's like, never correct me in front of the men again.
Yeah.
And she's like, one of these days I'm going to set you on fire with a grenade from the inside out. And he went, what? And she went, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. I say that to everybody.
You do?
Yeah. Fuck you. Or I'll set you on fire with a grenade from the inside out.
Oh God. They end up, cause they take this giant, block of ice that houses this creature right into that back room.
And it's so funny because watching the original, I was always like, why is it like hollowed out? How did they cut it out of there? They don't fucking cut it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all kind of sitting around and like kind of partying. It's mainly they're sitting around the rec room, like kind of just enjoying their time.
Yeah. They've drilled down into it and collected a small piece of tissue that he's then kind of
thing
looking at.
Yeah.
And he tells them all, like, as they're celebrating, like, on a cellular level, the thing that whatever we've gotten there is like nothing else that's ever been discovered.
And then Lars, who is my favorite character in the movie, he is a Swedish kennel, like he's the Clark of this movie. He has a dog. That's all we know about Lars. He has a dog, he has a box full of grenades, and he speaks zero English. He is my favorite character in this movie. He shouts in Norwegian, "We found a fucking alien!" And they're all just like, "Yay!" And then they drink and play music because apparently that's what Swedish people do and Norwegian people. That's how they live life.
I love the like juxtaposition of this scene and this group getting along together, partying, celebrating this discovery, as opposed to like the just dour what have we uncovered of the original group, picking this thing apart and just being horrified by their discovery.
Right. And it all takes place in the same area.
Yeah, like 2 days apart.
Yeah. They're just looking at charred, burnt up Two-Face corpses.
Yeah.
Not Two-Face.
Not Two-Face, yeah.
I don't know who I would cast as Two-Face. I haven't thought that far.
Well, maybe by the end of this, you'll figure something out.
There it is.
While the team is celebrating here, you have a couple like, people split off to do little odd things. Jameson, I think, steps to the bathroom and then he goes down to check on the block of ice.
Yeah.
And we see it has been melting ever so slightly, having been brought out and put inside.
Yeah. I think Peter jump scares him and it's a good fake out where he's standing behind him on the stairs and he's like, boo. And Jameson's like, you dick. And then he turns to leave to walk out. And then a giant, massive CGI monster bursts out of the ice, which again, this is one of those things that you can tell was probably practical because that ice explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and they have the prop afterwards of like the hollowed out ice.
But then it's a giant CGI tentacle monster and it smashes through the ceiling.
Yes. And the creature itself, with the little bits that you get to see, kind of all the leg limbs, the beakiness of the whole thing in this scene and the following scene where they're kind of trying to find it. Definitely like the Alec Gillis, his art, the way that their work on Tremors and Starship Troopers, the bug designs and the mandible designs on the graboids, very similar to me.
Yeah.
And so the little bit that you do get to see it, those little things stick out.
I like the performance that Adewale gives here as he runs back into the break room and it's just like, it's fucking alive. And he's like screaming. And I think his performance gives off such sincerity that it then explains why they don't like, oh, you're crazy.
They hardly question it. There's a quick moment of like, you're joking. And then it's like, no.
I'm not fucking joking. This thing is out. Like it got out. And so they all rush to look and they're like, oh, fuck. And then fucking Dr. Bad Guy is like, all right, everybody break off in pairs to find it. Now, remember, it's fragile. So get it back in one piece. And it's like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah. Sam, Griggs, and Jameson, they go back to their helicopter and they find the hatches open that wasn't open before. So they're kind of questioning that. Some of the other people find that Lars's dog has been killed. You get like a quick, whenever it's breaking out, shot of the dog chewing through the wire cage that it's in.
Very similar, yeah.
But it's such a quick, you do not spend any time with this dog. As much time as we spend with that dog in 82.
Yeah, well, that's where it gets the time to shine. Also, the dog from 82 is definitely dead, so I wonder who this dog actor is. Do you have anything on that?
No, I do not.
That's speciesist.
Yeah, I'm a hack.
Did you find out who played the Thing?
Well, no.
Is us.
Oh,
a little bit of all of us.
We were the Thing all along. Henrik and Olaf are our next kind of big scene people here. Henrik is played by Joe Adrian Havind, who was in an adventure film in 2012 named Kon-Tiki, and he was in something called The Disappearing Illusionist in 2015. It's a drama. And then Olaf is played by Jan Gunnar Royce, who was also in Order of Disappearance, which was the crime comedy that somebody I already mentioned was in, and
no, tell you,
2019 drama called Barn. But they're walking along and they spot it underneath it's underneath one of the buildings, like a raised building a bit.
And I can't tell what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like making noise and like cleaning itself.
I mean, if it's gotten to the dog,
it's trying to find a newspaper to find out what year it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if it, so it leaves through the ceiling of that room. If it has gone and gotten the dog,
which we have to assume it
has,
it's
trying to assimilate the dog,
or like a part of it has gotten to the dog.
Yeah, true.
Well, either way, they're standing there and they're like, hey, everybody, it's over here. And then Henrik's guts explode because it fires a tentacle in through his chest and spatters Olev in blood, which is important.
Yes.
Because remember, guys, there's two kinds of ways to get thing-fected. So we don't have Bug here to read off the rules, but the mics are better. The rules are that it can either assimilate you physically, it grabs you and becomes you by digesting you and then changing its morphology into you, or its cells get on you and then the cells assimilate the rest of your cells like an illness one by one until you are also the thing. But they are not a hive mind. They can't communicate with each other.
No,
so
they don't seem to.
Part of it has probably gotten the dog by this point, but the other part of it is now reeling Henrik, a screaming Henrik in like a largemouth bass. Eventually it swallows it into its teeth-filled butthole. And all you see is Henrik's fucking boots kicking out of its big old thing butt.
So,
and Olav is screaming and everyone comes running up and they watch this happen.
yeah. And they shoot it, with a bunch of different guns that they have.
But
and
I
then
love this because like you have Carter like pulls his gun, but he's not frantic.
No.
It's like holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he just slowly aims his gun. And it's like calculating like, do I do this?
Well, also I feel like it's like you can't tell what you're looking at. So it's like, am I shooting it in the head? Am I shooting it in the chest?
Right. Does it matter?
Yeah. Like,
what about is Henrik dead? Am I going to kill him?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Like,
then
should I be trying not to hit him or does it matter at this point?
Seeing the horror befalling everyone's faces, he's like, fuck it. And he just starts shooting. And then and I can't tell who it is, but another person walks up and starts shooting it as well. And then it's like, I don't like the feeling of having bullets go inside of my meef. I'm getting the fuck out of here. So it smashes through the floor as well and starts to climb up like its giant, like kind of crab claw pincers are like smashing through the walls. It's climbing away. And then somebody runs up with the flamethrower it gets doused. One of the bullets hits like an oil line.
Yeah. I think they dump oil or kerosene or whatever on it
And
because they're
then
like, we got to light it up.
I think Carter throws a flare and that's a good way to discover like, oh, you can set this on fire and it will do damage where bullets don't.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And I mean, that's just obviously it's a reference to John Carpenter's, but it's also a reference back to the original Howard Hawks film. So, it all pays homage to that.
Yeah.
So it struggles and ends up falling underneath, and it's still like you can see it still like half, digesting or enveloping Henrik's legs are still sticking out of it.
Cut to autopsy.
Our favorite. A
gross practical effect. They cut it open and they're looking to autopsy it to figure out what's going on. Now, what I will say is that this bad guy, Dr. whatever his name is, Colonel Sanders, he's not nearly as good of a doctor as Wilford Brimley.
No.
Blair is got the pencil. He's walking around. He's giving it. He's chewing it up. He's giving a motherfucking lecture. And this guy's just like, you woman, help me open this. And
he really does.
Fuck you,
he's
dude.
The worst.
Because she's so cool and he's a bitch. Hashtag Sanders a bitch. Whatever. I don't fucking care. Nobody's gonna do anything. But it's really disgusting. They open it up and he's like, okay, well, he's like, we have to study the remains. And this is where you get a sense of camaraderie that they didn't have in the first movie. In the first movie, it's every man for him fucking self. Because that's America, baby. But here, these Norwegians are like, he's like, we have to study the remains. And they're like, those remains had a name. It was a person. It was a friend of ours. And Dr. Sanders is like, yeah, that's true, but I don't fucking care. And he literally does. He's like, you, Kate, come here, help me with this. And she's like, you serious? And he's like, yeah. He's basically like, yeah, now. And it's super rude.
Yeah.
I don't like this guy.
No, not at all.
They peel the thing open, and in it is like this like trash bag, like a wet trash bag with this guy stuffed in it.
Yeah.
And they cut it open. Two things that are important. They cut it open and they look, and the body inside, his skin is like transparent and his hands aren't long enough. Like all the tissue was new and being formed. And that's what Kate says. She points that out. The other thing is that Kate finds a titanium plate that is somebody confirms, I think
Henrik had a broken arm at some point.
Yeah. And they flew him somewhere to get it fixed. And so she says, well, what is it doing? If it was in his arm, why is it now not in his arm? And Dr. Sanders like, that is a good question. It's like, yeah, she's fucking smart. Shut your fucking, get the, oh, I'm going to freak out. I'm going to put those pins in his arm. But through his skin or whatever.
You know, going back to my brother breaking his arm, if they had assimilated him,
Right.
it wouldn't have been able to take those pins either.
No, but it would have fixed his arm.
Okay.
But your brother would have been the thing.
Right. I think that's worth it.
Could you imagine you're getting bullied or whatever, and your brother's like, don't worry, little bro. I got this. Even though he's your little bro.
Yeah, but he's taller than me, so I get it. Yeah.
He's like, don't worry, little bro. I got this. And then he turns and his chest tears open and it's a bunch of teeth and a bunch of like little tentacles, and he grabs him and he slurps him in and he turns and looks at you and he's like, don't tell mom. Mom won't let me watch R-rated movies anymore if she finds out I'm a squid monster from space.
Yeah, she certainly wouldn't have.
But then Kate has the brilliant idea of, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get a tissue sample and I'm going to figure out what the fuck's going on. And this is our beep boop computer simulation scene where we see the thing cells digesting and then imitating human cells, but we just see it under a microscope in the petri dish. It's a weird CG little thing. It looks bad. It doesn't look real at all. It looks like a shitty early 2000s computer game. It looks real bad. I don't care. It doesn't matter one way or the other, but it stuck out to me. It's like all very high poppy red. I don't know. Maybe that's what that shit looks like.
Maybe.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's okay. That's true.
Well, we wouldn't know what an alien cell would look like by the nature of us not being aliens.
Correct.
So it's impossible to tell if that's real.
But I like that this is like, it achieves the same goal that Blair's test does.
Yeah.
His simulation, but not just doing the exact same thing.
Right.
Which is what this movie does well.
But if there's a chance that a newer audience is seeing this one first, they do need to explain that.
Exactly.
And then just as a quick aside, I said that Adam is a coward. This is the first time that he has really shown us that, because he's like, she's like, you see this, right? This is what it's doing. It's imitating the cells. And he's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm seeing here. And he refuses to be committal to an answer.
Yeah. Because Olaf is fallen ill, they decide to take him back to the mainland to get him, hospital. And so Carter, Jameson, and Griggs are trying to leave in the helicopter with him to take him into a medical facility. While this is happening, Kate, who is already kind of starting to piece these things together.
Yeah. She goes to the bathroom, splashes water on her face, which is weird, but okay. It's like she literally, it'd be one thing if there was like a lot of business where she's like actually doing that. But Mary Elizabeth Winstead literally runs her hands under the water of a sink for a second and then touches her face and is done.
That's all she needed.
It just stands out as weird to me.
Yeah, there should have been maybe a little more there.
It's like, you don't have to mime that.
Right.
It's clearly water in the sink. Your face gets a little wet. Just wash your face really fast.
She's like, no, these sinks don't work. This is a set.
You have no idea how expensive my facial serum is.
Yeah.
I am not washing it off.
Yeah, she didn't want to ruin her makeup that they had spent all that time on. So,
okay. It got painted over, so who cares?
Yeah. But yeah, she discovers in the bathroom on the floor, she discovers what ends up being like dental fillings and a standing shower that is covered in blood.
Oh my God. Like Fede Alvarez's Evil Dead. It looks like it rained blood in this shower.
Yeah.
But she realizes that there's something wrong. And she has put it together before she has said it out loud. So we, the audience, are catching up with the fact that she's figured it out. That's how I interpret this. She runs out and she tries to flag the helicopter down. Carter goes, she's flagging us down. And fucking Mr. Echo's actor is
Jameson,
yeah, he's like, well, we're not doing that. You need to get the fuck out of here. And he's like, no, put it down. And then Olaf, who is like very sickly looking, because again, he got a bunch of thing blood right in his mouth. Yeah. And he looks at him and he's like, what's happening? And then Griggs is like, oh, everything will be fine. And this is so weird. So this is the first reveal that I was saying that I don't think either of us care for very much, because it's weird.
It's an odd, because they're doing this like reversal thing.
Yeah.
But then the way that the two people in the back of the chopper are acting doesn't really make sense then.
Yeah, we also, and we tried a handful of times during this movie, but this movie is not like, it doesn't beg the questions that the first movie does. It's because you don't care about the people as much, because we don't spend as much time with them. Good job, Universal Studio Notes. But it's the thing of like, Olaf has obviously been infected.
Right.
We watched him get infected. And this other guy, not so much. And Olaf's like, what's happening? Why are we sitting back down? And it's like, oh, because he wants to get the fuck out of here because he's the thing and he wants to go to the next place to infect people. And then Griggs is like, oh, no, we'll be back up in the air in no time, buddy. Don't worry about it.
We
And
probably
is-
just forgot something.
Yeah. And is being really like kind. And then for zero discernible reason to me narratively at all, because he could have just kept his cool and they would have gone back in the fucking air. And for zero reason, he's just like, nope. And his face tears open in a clunky digital weird effect where it's like a kind of line appears on his face and then it splits open. I don't know. It looks fine. It's jarring.
Yeah.
What looks better is that his stomach kind of tears open into like, I can't remember the guy whose stomach turns into a mouth in the first movie. Norris. Norris it has that mouth full of teeth or the belly full of teeth. And he kind of does the same thing here. Griggs, where his chest tears into teeth, but it's all the little like when the husky in the first movie grows all the little tentacles.
Yeah.
And
they're just like whipping around really fast.
It's those.
Yeah.
But we don't see anything else because we cut back to Kate and then now Dr. Sanders has walked up, Colonel Dr. Sanders, and they're looking and the helicopter smashes into a mountain and explodes.
Yeah, it spins out of sight and explodes.
The real thing is the helicopters we've lost along the way. One of those helicopters almost got turned into a spaceship. Just saying.
That's true. It is an odd reveal. I don't love it doesn't make any sense. Like you said,
No.
It doesn't make any sense for him to act the way that he does to then immediately reveal himself. And I guess that's what I mean by like, we as the audience, I think in this moment are supposed to believe as they lead Olaf out to the helicopter and he's like basically coughing blood. Like he looks worse every time we see him.
Yeah, he's covered in sweat. It is freezing outside and he is pouring buckets of sweat.
And so it's supposed to, I assume, kind of be like Norris in, the original thing of like he is slowly becoming the thing and he doesn't necessarily know it. And so he is sick. So it's like, oh, okay, well, he's clearly the thing.
Like on this helicopter trip, he is going to finish transforming and attack them. But it's like, number one, when would Griggs have gotten infected? Because again, we looked and we just couldn't figure that out definitively.
No.
Number two, why would he be talking Olaf down from like panic and confirming him? Because then number three, nothing happens to force the change. Typically with the thing, something happens. The only thing I can think of is he realizes that if the helicopter touches back down, the reason that they are being warned will lead to them not being able to leave again.
Yeah.
And so it's like, fuck it, gonna take my chances.
Right.
Never get to crime scene number 2.
That's important.
But it's just weird. The whole thing is clunky. I feel like this is meddling. It doesn't feel natural at all. I don't like the effect very much. I like the one part of it.
Yeah, I like the look of what he looks like whenever he splits completely.
Yeah. That face split looks so bad.
It's clunky.
It looks like one of those things that you'd see of like, I made this in my AV class. And it's like, it looks very student, very amateur.
Yeah. And I think that has to do with like, oh, we've already shot this entire movie and we're going to bump the release date by 6 months. And so you got to get it done.
Because his face immediately, when it goes kind of rigid, the thing about it is it doesn't really look like him anymore. It widens and it kind of transforms very quickly from one shot to the next. And my assumption about that, after hearing what you said about, Universal's demands or whatever, it feels like they made a fake head that they were then having to paint over. So they painted his face over a fake face. So the dimensions were wrong, but with a fake face, you can put makeup on it and you can make it look closer to the original. With a digital face, you're literally just painting over the margins. So either way, this is the first time we see a person become the thing, though. And I think that's the big takeaway.
And
I'd say this pushes us definitively into Act 2.
Yeah, true. They try to radio for help, but there's too much interference for the storm coming in, which Dr. Sander doesn't want them to call for help anyway, because he is like, no, we're going to lose the find if we let anybody know about anything that's happening. Kate, she goes back to the bathroom and finds that someone has actually cleaned up the bloody shower from before. And so she tries to alert the rest of the team that, you know, she believes that the alien can assimilate and imitate its victims to hide among them.
Yeah.
But it can't clone inorganic material, and she shows them the fillings.
What I will say is that this is an interesting moment because only in a, like, and I don't even think this is a nitpick. I just think this is an interesting relationship that, like, sort of the Dutchland area, that area of the world has with English speaking countries, is that they speak English so well. Because Dr. Sanders says, now's not the time to start shouting fire.
Right.
And it's like, that's such an English idiom to then use as somebody who that is the second language of. I don't know. It's just impressive dialogue. I feels natural. Because he's great.
Yeah.
His character's a dick, but he's great. And so that just felt natural.
Well, and the fact that now that you brought up like the language barrier was important there as well, because one, it sets up things that happen in, you know, the beginning of 82, but it sets up this level of distrust between the characters that are here in this camp to an extent. It also sets up a miscommunication at times between characters, because in this scene, I believe Lars is standing there, and as she is speaking at first, he kind of like looks like he almost like taps, you know, the Hendrik on the or Edward rather on the arm of just like, what is she saying? Like he looks around like, can someone please explain to me? I don't know what this woman is saying right now. And I like that, because it's like, yeah, there's some people in this room who don't speak English or don't speak it well, and they may be confused, and the rest of them are just like, well, no, we don't have time to worry about that. We just need to make a plan and do something.
One thing to point out, not a big detail, Edward, who is like the site manager, like the Gary, who, God, not near enough a crack shot. Though.
No.
Gary would never get infected. He'd fucking shoot the thing back into space out of a gun. He's like, no, fuck you, lady. What I say goes. I need, and then he names Lars and I think his name is Colin to go grab something. And as they're getting ready to leave, she's like, no, don't go yet. And he's like, I'm not listening to you anymore. What I find funny is that those two people are the only people that go the entire film without getting infected. It's her and those two.
Yeah. He
ends up dying in means we'll get into. And then Lars lives till the very fucking end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like they never get infected. So the only two people that she stops from leaving would have actually been of assistance.
Yeah.
Just happenstance. You can never have known that. Though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it doesn't, like you said, doesn't operate the same way. Colin is one of those that he is very suspicious the entire rest of this movie.
Whole movie.
Even during this talk, anytime that she says something about like, oh, I think somebody must have gone in there and cleaned up the shower. And then we immediately cut to him and he's just kind of looking down and away.
Yeah.
And then they follow that up with Juliet, who is the other woman. So we've actually got two women in this movie.
Yeah. Passes the Bechdel test.
It does in a couple scenes.
Yeah.
Juliet is a French geologist. She's played by Kim Bubbs. She's a voice actress in a couple of the Assassin's Creed games, Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. She does several kind of just ensemble voices.
Sure.
And then she also did voices in at least 5 of the Deus Ex series.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what she's done mainly outside of this.
Very cool.
Colin, like we mentioned, is the English radio operator. He is Jonathan Lloyd Walker. He was in Land of the Dead, the George A. Romero 2005, the 4th one in that franchise. And then he is in Red, the 2010 action comedy with Bruce Willis and Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
So Juliet stops to talk to Kate as everybody else is kind of sent off to do what, they've been told.
She kind of plants the idea in Kate's head of like, we got to get rid of the vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have to, because I've seen people eyeing shit. And
And she's like, I think I saw Colin leave the bathroom with something in his arms, as if he's the one to have gone and cleaned that up. And then she also, like, as they're talking, spots Colin like across the hall
putting something into a backpack.
And they stop and they quiet down and he walks away. Again, we're all just playing up the suspicion toward Colin.
Now, this is an opportunity to show that the movie doesn't know, it doesn't fumble every time with the thing reveals.
Mm-hmm.
Because she walks Kate into this closet to go get the keys for the vehicles to keep them hidden, basically. And I didn't expect the twist of Juliet is the thing until her voice kind of distorts. And it's not like too bad. It just, it goes from being cohesive sentences to kind of slower sentences to just like strangled gasp.
Yeah. And then it's she asked the question and to silence. And Kate has the realization of, oh no, it's right behind me, isn't it?
Yeah. I watched a video today.
Mm-hmm.
Stick with me. I watched a video today. You know those chickens, little rubber chickens? Adam Savage fucks with them a lot, where you squeeze them and when you let go, it's like, it screams and it's got the big open mouth. So somebody stuck one of those where the mouth was under a faucet and it was like drowning, like waterboarding it. But it kept squeezing it and it would go, and it would gargle the water out. But it was the chicken noise. You could hear the chicken noise underneath. The reason I bring that up is because it's funny to see the same sounds escape because they are being made from the same medium, no matter what kind of pressure they're under. And it made me think of that in the weirdest way, because as Juliet transforms, her shoulders, neck, and most of her chest are still intact. So her head is still screaming in like agony, as though she is alive. But it's like, is she, or is that air escaping? Because if air is escaping, it's escaping through vocal cords out the throat and out the mouth of a person who was just alive.
Yeah, like we're hearing her death rattle.
And either way, that's fucking horrible. That it's just using her mouth for noise, or it's an unintended consequence.
Right.
And it's like, ugh, I hate it. But yeah, she's another one of the, like, her stomach opens up and it's got a bunch of teeth. That's like a repeated motif, which I don't hate.
But it's a little like she's almost got like the spiked teeth all the way down one of her arms that kind of becomes a tentacle. And the way that she moves once she begins attacking Kate reminds me of the headless corpse of the woman with the chainsaw bursting in at Ash.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just the way that it's like puppeted.
Kind of Muppety.
It looks similar to me.
It goes down the hall after her. Kate goes to run away. Very claustrophobic set piece here. It reminds me of Scream 6 in the bodega. Kind of aisles are toppled on top of each other. So in this, they're in like a small storeroom and several multi-tiered shelves have like fallen and she's having to crawl through them. Real claustrophobic, real weird. But having said all that, she does get out. And then Juliet's the thing mows down the guy with glasses. His name I can't remember.
Carl. He is someone who it is like he is in scenes, obviously, but he does basically nothing.
The only thing I know that he does is when Kate asks what the titanium plate is, Adam's like, oh, this is what this is. It's for surgery. And he goes, that's right.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Carl is the Norwegian geologist. I believe he was in the early scene whenever they first go to the site where they're introduced to Juliet and Carl, because they're the geologist in the team. He's played by Karsten Bjornlund, who was in a comedy series called Rita and a drama series called The Legacy. And then so Juliet Thing bumps into Carl and begins assimilating him. And Lars then comes in. Lars, we haven't really, I mean, we've talked about, but I haven't said who he is. He's an ex-soldier. He's the dog keeper. He's played by Jorgen Langhel. And he was in a drama in 2002 called I Am Dinah. And then something called Arn, the Night Templar, which was an action drama from 2007. But he comes in with a flamethrower.
Yeah.
And so which is a staple of this franchise. And so he sets her on fire and she goes running into the kitchen. And I like this because like she runs in there and gets under the like stove hood and the fire suppression cannons like kind of go off and start putting the fire out. And it's like, so she's held on to enough information in her thing brain to know I can go in there and trigger those things and maybe put the fire out.
And Lars is like, no, the fuck you can't. And he stands there and he burns he burns Juliet to cinders. She gets outside.
No, they end up taking those corpses of the people who have died and they burn them like
she
they did
ends
in the
up
original.
out
Yeah,
there.
she ends up out
She's
there.
not of her own accord.
And this is where,
that's weird.
Do you want to make out?
Yeah,
You want to suck face?
Every time we say the same thing, and then our faces will be one face.
Yeah. Oh man, it's getting there.
Watch two people kiss each other really hard, and you tell me that doesn't look like the thing. I'm just saying, maybe we all are. No, it's not. Maybe we definitely are. But that's where our clip happens.
I love this little. This is not something that they intended, but I believe it's Lars says, "Is it still Among Us?" And isn't that the name of that video game, Among Us?
Yeah,
Which is based on the idea of the thing.
Makes sense. After this, it's another scene where like, so in the first movie, Fuchs had been reading Blair's notes and was like, hey, McCready, come with me over here. And then it's like, by the way that it gets you is it lures you alone into a dark place. It's like, Fuchs, you just did this.
Yeah.
It's similar, but it's much more innocent. Lars is like, psst, and fucking Kate turns around and he like gestures. He's like, grr. But he can't speak English.
Right.
So he's like, yeah. And she follows him and he just walks into like his tool shed and he opens a little crate and there's like 24 grenades in it. And he's like, see this? He's not speaking. It's just big wide eyes and gesturing. And she's like, oh, and she's like nods at him. And then I think it's Edvard comes in and he immediately closes it before he can see what it is. And he's like, guys, come on. We're going to have a meeting or like a chat or something.
Yeah. Cause they have decided that, obviously if this is something that's happening to them, they need to quarantine to keep, them as safe as they can, but also the outside world safe.
But it's like, I like that this speech does enough work to Lars to show him like, oh no, she knows what she's talking about. I love that. And you and I talked about this earlier today. I love so much that this big, brutish, hulking man who has now burnt these corpses and is like the kennel master, has a bunch of grenades and shit, sees in this young, small framed, girl, like, oh no, you are the woman that will lead me out of this. So I am your attack dog. Tell me what to do. I don't even know what you're saying. Point and I'll do the thing. I love it. It's so great.
Yeah. It works really well.
Jameson and Carter show back up.
Yeah, they stagger back up, having somehow survived the crash.
Yeah, zero chance that that's gonna happen in real life.
And that's basically, that's what they tell them is like, there's no way that something human could have survived. And Peter is immediately like, we should just burn them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter either way. We should just burn them to be safe.
Yeah. Peter is now wearing a flamethrower and is just like hit trigger happy. Is like, kill them, kill each other. I don't give a fuck. I'm walking the fuck out of here.
And so they are going to be kept in isolation, much like Blair, until they can eventually be tested.
Can you imagine fucking Mr. Echo being like, I don't like it in here. I'm fine now. I'm not going to hurt anybody. Just let me out.
We have to go back to the island.
Let me go back to the island. I'll be fine out there. I won't get the smoke monster. Everything will be fine. I won't join the Dharma Initiative again.
Oh man, if only. Dr. Sander and Adam, they have basically devised the same sort of plan that they do in the original, which is, we could test our blood. We could draw blood and test it and see if it has some sort of reaction. See if any of us have been infected. And we even see in this one a clearer version because Kate has already seen on a microscope that you can see the cells taking over. So they can just test it that way. But then Kate and Lars, as they're coming back from the shack that they've put Carter and Jameson in, that flames have erupted from the other side of the base. And whenever they run inside the lab with the specimen, the blood test, everything in there is burning.
Yeah.
And has been set on fire because there is a can of kerosene.
But this is great because you see the can of kerosene. You see all the lab room, the beakers with the hollowed out fucking ceiling where everything had burnt to a cinder in the thing in John Carpenter's. Now you see burning.
Yeah.
And it's great because it's not for the reason you think.
Right.
You think they torched the place just like they do at the end of the thing. That's what I always assumed, but it's not. Something got set on fire. The other thing is that this is a good answer to a question that you and I had, and I pointed this out in our last viewing of you, Bug, and I kind of discussed like, well, why would the thing immediately go after
the blood samples that
of
they
the
already
American
had
outpost?
Yeah.
Right. But it's because the thing in this movie witnessed the group talk about how they can test blood, thought, fuck, they got me, and had to almost out itself. So when it gets the opportunity in the American outpost in John Carpenter's the thing, it immediately goes for it. And I think this answers that. Whether it's intentional or not, I just think that that's what a good prequel is supposed to do.
Oh,
is
yeah.
take those little holes and button them shut. And I think this
Absolutely.
does that well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's something that I hadn't thought of until you mentioned it in this last viewing, which I enjoy. They accuse Adam because he was the last one who had been in the lab. And there's a lot of, finger pointing at this point. There's a lot of like, well, no, it could have been you. No, it was probably you. Because it can't assimilate inorganic material, Kate proposes that everyone should be checked for dental fillings.
This is my favorite scene in the movie.
And so, yeah, because it's our test scene.
My favorite part about this is immediately what I was just talking about. Lars does not speak English. And she goes, listen, Peter, give me your flashlight and tell Lars to open his mouth. So Peter in Norwegian's like, hey, open your mouth. And Lars looks at him, then looks at her and is immediately like, okay. And opens his mouth. And she takes the flashlight and points at his fillings and says, see these? And explains the thing wouldn't be able to copy these. So then she gets Lars's attention and she opens her mouth and points at her fillings. Lars looks, understands what just happened, and then immediately points the flamethrower at Peter and is like, your turn. He doesn't speak it, but he shakes this at him. And then in Norwegian is like, open your fucking mouth. And they do. They check everyone. The people of note are Adam. It says, so what, I'm going to get killed because I brushed my teeth? And she's like, no one's getting killed. But he's a little bitch about it.
Yeah.
I don't like Adam. So he leaves the movie forever. He just gets out in the snow and dies. No. But he's sequestered off to the side. The other two things that kind of stuck out to me are Dr. Sander is such a dick because he's like, they're porcelain. It's like, yeah, but you could tap on that shit with your fingernail. They'd be able to tell. I'm sure you could show them that. Yeah. But you're just being a bitch. And then the last thing is that once the test is concluded, the four that are standing off to the side are Colin, the radio operator, Edvard, the camp manager, Dr. Sander, and Adam. Now, this freaked me out as I thought about it because we were trying to find a clip and I was looking for this clip and it was a YouTube comment. And it really has made me think.
Okay.
As Kate is like, we're going to go get Jameson and Carter, and they go to leave, Edvard says she's very clever. And he says it in Swedish to the group of people next to him. Spoiler, he's the thing at this point. So that is the thing speaking.
Yes.
And this to me is the closest that we get to the thing's internal monologue.
Yeah. And what's interesting is now that you say that, the other three people, unless I'm mistaken here, Dr. Sander, Adam, and Colin, he says that in Swedish or Norwegian rather, they are not that.
Right. Dr. Sander is the only one that would understand him. And it's like maybe he views it in Dr. Sander another very intelligent person, but it is like that to me is the thing speaking stream of consciousness, and it's terrifying because it's like cold. It doesn't come off as a compliment. It comes off as annoyed. Like, well, she's fucking clever, and it's like, does it know? And if it does, it speaks the language well enough that like, it's just gross.
Well, and for the rest of this like little sequence here in the hallway and everything else, like Edward is then going after her. He's not outright, but it's like he's telling Lars, like, you do not need to, you cannot trust her. Like the enemy is out there. It's very much a
MAGA situation.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yeah.
It's like the enemy from within or whatever.
It's a lot like that, which is what, the original thing from Another World was, is the Red Scare of like, you can't tell that someone is, a communist.
Right. And in this one, they're searching through the ice, combing the ice to find, drugs and the list.
Right.
Because those are the things that are topical in the world right now.
Right.
Though the list has been topical for like 6 episodes straight.
But yes, so he's really trying to like pit them against each other.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, like in last week's episode of once somebody's a thing, then you start noticing, oh, they're trying to pick fights between these other people and get them looking anywhere but at them.
Yeah. So the seeds of discord. Speaking of the seeds of discord, I love this scene so much. Carter and Jameson break back in.
Yeah, because like once they get done with the test, then they send Lars and Jonas. Kate sends them to fetch Carter and Jameson to do their testing. And when they get out there, they've busted out through the floorboards and dug their way out.
Yeah, because they're Americans, baby, and that's what we do.
And so Lars goes to look for them in the snow and disappears.
Right.
Jonas makes it back. And he explains, like, they got Lars. They must have gotten him out there because I can't find him. And then you hear something else break in another section,
which is
very much
how
like,
McCready gets in. Yeah, smashes into the storage closet. They come out, and Carter has a flamethrower, and fucking Jameson's got just a 9mm.
Yeah.
This reminded me of looking at them visually standing next to each other, with Jameson wearing the kind of ski cap and Carter with the longer brown hair, and he's wearing kind of like a bomber jacket, like a fur-lined thing. They look like McCready and Childs together.
They're kind of doing that, I think.
Their outfit is similar, yeah. And they get into an altercation. They're all trying to explain, no, you have to trust me. You have to trust me. Classic The Thing shit.
Yeah, and there's kind of a standoff in the hallway with Peter having the other flamethrower.
And he won't chill the fuck out.
No.
So Jameson shoots him in the head in the tank.
And mainly because Edward is egging him on.
Yeah.
He's like hid behind the wall and he's just like, no, you have to stop them. Like they're the thing. And so he makes a move and Jameson caps him.
Yeah. The pilot light is then engulfed in the liquids. And
that's another little moment because Edward like comes out and he's like, I want to check on my friend. And then he goes to check on Peter and like he's moving forward and the others react to like the gas spilling out going to the pilot light. And they're like, it's going to explode. But until someone says something, he doesn't seem to even notice.
It's like he doesn't know that that's how it works.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
And then it explodes.
Yeah, we can get through this
and
next
he's knocked out.
Because this next bit is unfortunate to me. He's knocked out. Carter and Jameson are now in charge. Yes. Absolutely in charge.
It's a McCready has taken charge. He's holding them captive with the dynamite scene.
Kate says to him, we're not all human. And Edward, as though picking up on a hilarious little joke, as he's being carried into the rec room, his arms slough off, come to life. One of his arms, because he's the thing, one of his arms,
what?
Yeah, caterpillar crawls and gets into Jonas's mouth, which is sad because I like him, but he is dead now. And then the other arm seems to just kind of fuck off. Meanwhile, in this amazing practical prop, because we saw the behind the scenes, it would have been amazing. It's one of the best looking fake heads I've ever seen, with individually woven hairs and all of these different...
the way that the hair falls is great.
All of these different writhing stumps that they were going to CG like teeth and tentacles coming out of, but on top of the physical prop. And what we end up with is just slop. It is incoherent and poorly mapped, and it's just... It's so disappointing to me.
It looks fake. There's no way around it.
Big deaths here. Jameson dies. The lashing tentacle that sticks out of Edward's chest kills Jameson.
Yeah.
Kills him through like
he
a poker
seems,
table.
Yeah, one of them hits Jameson there, and he's kind of dying. She ends up having to set, everybody on fire, basically, who's been infected in some way.
Yeah. Adam is on the ground being a coward. This is a thing I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
This is a moment that I don't like. Carter is trying to get the flamethrower to work, and it's not.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that shouldn't have been the answer here. It should have been he gets knocked out and they can't get it off of him or something else.
It is always, it was working just fine before this and just fine after this, but in the moment that you need it most, it conveniently doesn't work.
Yeah, that's ridiculous to me. But Adam, this is the scene that kept me from horror for a decade. Because Adam, the Edward thing lays its face onto Adam's face. And I haven't seen the thing act like this, like genetically.
Yeah.
But it's like their faces touching fuses them together.
Yeah.
And that's where you get from the original, the two-faced thing that gets burnt out in the snow, which I don't hate, because you pointed out that it always seemed like it was the thing splitting into two people.
Yeah. This is one of those moments where I love kind of to me, it feels like, oh, let's take what you maybe thought you knew about that creature and turn it on its head. Because, that's how I always look at that, is like a person is splitting in two whenever you see it in the 82 version.
That's what it looks like.
And then in this, it's like, oh no, that was two people merging into one.
Like fusing into a creature.
And it got killed before it could do it fully.
Yeah. It's gross.
Yeah.
It's truly disgusting. This is a little less interesting to me. This is it feels a little bit more studio driven.
Yeah.
Because it's a very long, arduous sequence.
To ultimately just end up where we do. Because it kind of, the Edward Adam thing kind of breaks out of the room as Kate takes over with the flamethrower, and she puts Jonas out of his misery, much like Windows, and then has to put Jameson out of his misery because he has been unfortunately stabbed by one of the tentacles, like you said. And it's like, Carter has a little moment to say goodbye to his friend, because it's just like, oh, there's nothing
touching.
we can do.
The only survivors now are Dr. Sander, Carter, the helicopter pilot, and Kate.
Yeah.
They're the only survivors. They are now being hunted through this snow by the centipede arm.
Yeah. Well, first, because there's a short scene where Carter gets cornered in the kitchen by the Edward Adam thing. The only reason I bring that up is I think this is another sort of nod to the kitchen Velociraptor kids scene in Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Has a similar sort of thing. And then Kate sets it on fire and it bursts out of the wall, where she follows it and continues to burn it until it is where MacReady finds it in A2.
Right. With the hole in the wall facing, I think, where they pull up.
Yes. Yeah, they land just outside of there.
Now, what I will say, right before then, he's got a fire axe.
Yeah.
And he chops this arm in half. And then it ends up in the door where you find it in the original thing. And he goes to pick it back up, but it's covered in blood. And she goes, do not touch that. And it's like, she knows what the fuck she's talking about. He respects it and goes, okay, I won't. But it's also not a, hey, look, remember this?
Yeah.
It explains why it's there.
Yeah, because I don't even think they really light it really well.
No,
it's just kind of like he stabs it into the door. They have their little moment. She burns the arm thing and it dies, presumably. And then they're just like, do not touch that. And they move on.
But it sets everything. It's what I mean. Everything that they do, the one reference that feels like, oh, come the fuck on, is the flamethrower not starting. Everything else feels perfectly natural.
Yeah. But once they take care of that, they head back out into the snow to find Sander is leaving in one of the snowcats.
Yeah. Again, setup, payoff. You hear him kind of screaming earlier, and they're like, is that Sander? And it's like, yeah, I think so. So when they see him stone dead, dumb face, just like driving this thing away, they're like, oh, okay, well, he's the monster now. He's the bad guy.
And Carter is just like, well, just let him go. He's just going to freeze out there. And Kate's like, unless he's got a place to go, because she has realized like, oh, well, they're going to do whatever they possibly can to get out of here.
Well, and I like that she says, you know, it could kill millions, but to Blair's assumption, it would kill everyone on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, it's big stake shit. And they don't even realize how big of a stake like it is.
Yeah.
Like how big a stake I had when I saw Season of the Witch in theaters.
Yeah.
It was bad, but it was big.
It was big. It was not worth the $40.
It was like a paleo steak. It was
Wow.
like from a dinosaur.
Okay. They fix one of the other snowcats to go out after him. And it is a moment that you pointed out that it's like, no, it's true. That does kind of bother me of like, you did a whole thing where you sabotaged the snowcat so that we couldn't escape. And then you fixed it in the course of a minute.
I think the scene is to get Lars and Kate together to talk about the grenades, but you don't need to do the vehicle shit.
Yeah.
You just hide the keys. And then it found the keys. I don't know.
Yeah.
They make a really loud key noise like Windows when he drops the keys.
Yeah.
And it like, ching, and everyone's like, Jesus, what the fuck was that? She's like, sorry, I dropped some keys on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick them up.
As long as they explain it.
I'm going to pick up 4 out of the 5, but I'm going to leave 1 diabolically close to Dr. Sander.
So they hop in the other snowcat and they chase after him. And in this, Kate notices, like we all have, if we haven't before this moment, we catch that Carter is wearing an earring.
Yes. Now I wonder why you bring that up.
I don't know.
Well, we'll find out.
He also mentions, because she asks about, you know, when she sent Lars and Jonas out to get them for the blood test, you know, what happened to Lars? And Carter's like, we did not kill Lars.
Mm-hmm.
So Lars is still out there somewhere.
Yes, he is.
He's the hero of the story.
He is my hero, yeah.
They make it back out to the crash site, and as they're kind of heading out onto the spacecraft, it activates. And like it has almost these like fins and like ports on top that shift, and they run. It's a kind of an action bit here. And then she ends up sliding down into the ship. Carter continues on and climbs down through the hatch.
Yeah. Personally, I don't like the set piece.
Mm-hmm.
I like the contrast of the science fictional horror to the very stark, like almost like portable trailer ramshackle setup. The spaceship throws me off.
Yeah, the spaceship itself was supposed to be like to feel non-human in any sort of capacity. The size of like the rooms that she's moving through, there's no chairs, there's no doorways, there's nothing that would, because it doesn't, like normally when a spaceship is seen in a movie, it's like, oh, well, there are humanoid things that we put on it to go, oh, well, there's the steering wheel and there's the captain's chair and there's the, whatever. Mm-hmm. This doesn't have any of that. This is like the hallways that they walk through give me like Alien, like Ridley Scott's Alien vibes, because they have kind of the spine look to them. Mm-hmm. Other pieces of it are just kind of shifting and moving as the engines turn on. They like spiral slowly, and the pieces of them kind of widen out to reveal things underneath as they spiral up through the ceiling to then start the launch process.
Mm-hmm. Subsequently melting the snow and ice above. So that's how we find it in the first movie, is kind of sitting in a giant discus of melted snow.
And she ends up in this big, like, central chamber, I guess. And there is this odd shifting column.
It's Minecraft. It's a bunch of Minecraft squares that shift around. And at one point I thought they were making shapes. Like it looked like one of them was maybe a tree, but I don't think that that's what it was supposed to be doing. I think it's just a weird abstract decision.
Yes, it is. And the reason kind of behind that is that the ending and the beginning of this movie were scripted and then partially filmed very different than how they ended up. And they were supposed to, especially the ending, was supposed to shed more light on the Thing's backstory. The prologue would have shown how the alien pilot purposefully crashed the ship on Earth and then committed suicide. And then it would have at this point then shown that creature, the pilot of this ship originally, having like killed itself in the middle of this chamber. And basically what's kind of come out is that the idea was that the alien that was in charge of the ship was like collecting other species, other specimens to then put in some sort of like alien zoo, if you will. And one of those specimens happened to be the thing unknowingly, which then either got out, started infecting other things on the ship or whatever. And so this,
or other space civilizations know about, like the flood from Halo.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that. Either way, I like the theory. I am happy that we did not see it in practice. I do not want a definitive answer.
Well, that's a good point.
I'm fine with
the
it.
studio basically was like, this is too much to put in this scene of her like finding these clues and piecing together the history of the thing while also having the big, battle, if you will, with the big monster at the end.
I am fine with the pilot of this ship being dead in the middle of the room.
Yeah. I wish
think
they
that would have been infinitely more interesting. You can put those context clues together. You have been watching people die, get assimilated, being burned, or killing themselves subsequently for 2 movies now.
Yeah.
If you saw that this thing was dead by its own hand in the middle of the room, you'd be like, oh shit. Yeah. So they went through this too.
If they had changed nothing else about this movie, like the ending, let's say,
right,
except for that column,
great,
it would have improved it
by a lot. I think it would have been interesting enough without giving any information away at all.
Because it would have been, to me, that would have been almost not as impactful, but it would have been closer to like seeing the space jockey in the middle of the alien ship in Alien. I know I keep referencing that.
No, it makes sense.
But it's like, because we didn't know until Prometheus came out, we had no idea what that thing was, what it looked like, anything. It's just this carcass in the middle of the room. And that's what this would have been. It would have been like, oh my God, what happened here? We don't get any answers.
Which would then be interesting because, I mean, listen, I understand it's a classic, don't touch the classic, but I don't think there's a problem with building around that. It's why I don't have a problem with the fact that there's so many fucking Halloween or Friday the 13th sequels. It's like, yeah, you've got really good classic material in there, but it's also fine to fuck around in the world as long as you pay respect to the original. I would have zero fucking problem with another prologue 100,000 years ago showing the people on this ship, aliens on this ship, do what fucking Predator Badlands did and make a language and a whole race and watch them slowly suffer and die.
And to your point, that would have worked perfectly the same way that the Norwegian base worked to create this film.
And you just keep telling, again, you don't have to make a bunch of fucking movies, but you could then have opened the studio up to do one more. And honestly, call it The Thing.
Yeah.
Don't call it anything else. That would have been really interesting. But instead we get this weird shifting thing and then a giant ugly CG monster fight. The one thing I do like is it's got Sanders' face on it. And he's like in the middle and it's like kind of connected to what looks like an arm coming out of his torso. It's like a big long neck and it's expressive. And then it bursts open. And the expression was just probably something we were projecting is how I assume.
Yes. Yeah, because he doesn't speak. It's much like the Blair creature at the end. It's just like, oh, I mean, Blair's in there, but just kind of.
Well, and that's how I feel is like, again, I compare to the Resident Evil a handful of times, I think in this discussion, but it's like, this is a classic thing with Resident Evil where guy infects himself with virus to stop, Leon and then bursts open into bigger and bigger and bigger things throughout the whole game and becomes more and more of a bioweapon. And it's like, yeah, that's what the thing seems to do. It seems to get backed into a corner and goes, fuck you. I'm going to tear you to shreds. And then I'm going to look like you when I leave here. Chases her into like a air vent.
Yeah, I guess into a tighter hallway.
It's believable.
Yeah.
You find a chamber in the ship. All of this good faith and the cool shit they're doing, it's cheapened by this. But the fact that this was set up so long ago doesn't really bother me as much. I think if they didn't set it up and it was just laying there, but she's had a grenade on her person for now half the movie and it's fallen out of her pocket. She sees it. She grabs it. She throws it. The thing swallows it instinctively and explodes. Great.
Yeah. She and Carter, run away, escape the blast.
Yeah. They get onto a magical carpet.
Yeah. That ends up, the explosion, stops it basically destroys the engines. They turn off. and the ship doesn't rise, but it has melted away all the ice above it, which is why we see it the way that we do in the original. They go back out to the snowcats and they're like, okay, well, there is a Russian base that's 50 miles from here, because they talked about that.
Yeah. She realizes very quickly he doesn't have the right. He doesn't have an earring in anymore. She says, "You know how I knew you were human? It's because of the earring, because it can't, assimilate foreign material." And he reaches, but he reaches for the wrong ear.
Yeah.
And she burns him, and he screams that alien disfigured scream. And then she gets into the final snowcat and kind of looks at the camera, and it's like angry but resolved. And you and I had the conversation of like, does she know where the Russian base is? Because Carter knew where it was.
Right.
Does she
Like,
know?
he's a pilot. He's flown to these bases before. He would know how to figure it out one way or the other.
Because like she's gonna pick a direction, and if she picks even a degree wrong, she's dead. So I like that we don't know what happened to her.
It's still, because it still is the feel bad ending, the nihilistic. We don't know. Oh, are we gonna make it? No, nobody makes it out of John Carpenter's The Thing.
Right.
It's just, we only have one person now, and she is more than likely going to freeze to death in the snow.
Yeah. And that's the end of the movie. Except that, and this is brilliant.
Dun, dun.
Yeah. Cut to the original John Carpenter's, not his score, but for his movie, that score.
Ennio Morricone.
Yeah. Really kind of a nihilistic piece of music. And you cut to that, and the pilot who is flying, because they mentioned it earlier that the only helicopter that they had other than the one that just exploded is refueling and is on the way back. It finally shows back up, and he's like, he looks around and he sees the base is burned to cinders. He sees the two-headed thing, and he's like, hello? Well, he's Norwegian, so he's like, hello?
Yeah.
Das Krampus or whatever. But then a gunshot rings out, and it's your boy Lars, and he's like, hey, open your fucking mouth.
I love it.
I love it, because that's all he knows. That's the only way he knows how to tell. And he shouts that, and then his husky runs past, and he goes, that's not a dog, get in the fucking chopper. And he grabs, apparently in a deleted scene, you told me this, I didn't know this, he grabs a bunch of grenades.
That big box of grenades that Lars had.
Which again, I love it. It sets it up in this movie. It pays it off in this movie with the grenade at the ending. And then it sets it up to pay off in the actual thing, which is great. And then, it's what we talked about kind of the jump of this episode. There is no telling if that's footage from the original or footage from this one. It is them in that helicopter shooting at and chasing that dog.
The way that this butts up with the original, and I keep calling it the original, and what I mean is the 82 John Carpenter, because the original is really a lot, 30 years before that. But the way that these two butt up to each other is so much to me like Rogue One into A New Hope. When the first time you watch it, or this is how I was in theaters with both of these movies, is you get to where you think the movie is going to end. And you're like, well, I know that this, it's the prequel to this other movie that I know and love. And then it just keeps going. And it's like, well, how close are we going to get?
Right. Do we just like a lesser studio now would use like AI face swap to have McCready come out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we never get that because we don't need to.
But that's what I'm saying. It's what I said at the offset of this episode. If you had gone 2 more frames, you would have had to have done that. It is as close as you can get to the original. Something that I really enjoy is, and again, not important. It was never important. I never saw this coming. And I can typically see this shit from a mile away.
Yeah.
Didn't see this coming. Lars was the only member in that team that didn't speak any English. Didn't seem important, except the reason in the original John Carpenter's, when the Norwegian man runs up and starts screaming about how that's not a dog, that's an imposter. The reason he didn't say it in English, because I think I even commented that in our episode last week of like most people of that region speak English fairly well. I wonder why he didn't say that. It's because he's the one in the camp that couldn't. And I think that's brilliant. No, I really like this movie. It's what I think is sad is that the weakest part of the movie is when the monster's on screen.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of movie. This is more like what's funny is this is more of a slasher. It is much more aggressive and more vicious.
Oh yeah.
It's how it moves like a monster. It moves like a creature. It walks on all fours. It's fast. And in the original, it isn't. Once it's the thing, it explodes into like a pile and it's just part of the set that you have to escape.
Yeah, true.
But in this one, it is much more like a panther. It hunts people through this place. And I think that that's its own kind of horror.
Yeah.
But I don't know how well that translates to John Carpenter's, in my opinion. It's like that's the weakest part of the movie to me.
Yeah, it is something that people have talked about because people have asked those same questions of like, well, why does it act so differently in this movie to the next?
Yeah.
And in the timeline. And the best that I've read is that this is its first time experiencing humans, how they will fight back, the tools that they have available to them. And so it lashes out at them. And then by the end of it, it realizes that doesn't work. As soon as I show myself, they just burn me to death. And so the next time around, it takes this form of a dog. It runs into this new camp and they don't immediately burn it to death. Instead, they shoot the people that were chasing me. Maybe I can sneak my way in here.
Which is funny because it just should have stayed like that.
Yeah.
Like my dog obviously did.
Yeah. We know.
We know, you little bastard. We know you're the thing. Don't lay there all sweet and cute with your little ear. You're a murderer. Derek, do you recommend The Thing 2011?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think this movie gets a bad rap. I think it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But I think it does. I think it was made from everything that I've read and everything that I've seen in the few bits of special features and behind the scenes stuff that I have. I think that it was made with the right intentions by the filmmaker, by the writers, by the producers, and by the actors in it. By the special effects artists that are worked on this.
Yeah.
And I think it is bad decisions by the studio because of some people who just didn't get it.
Yeah.
That cut the legs out from under it.
Yeah. Folks, if you're listening to our show and you're not a huge fan of these movies, but you kind of want to nebulously be around them, we really appreciate that you choose to do that with us as your medium, with us as your guide through these things. We love you. We appreciate it. If you're ever offered to be in a support or like a support group, if you're ever offered to be in like a focus group when it comes to one of these movies and to give your opinions on things, please don't. Give that invitation to us. We might do excellent work. And also, Universal Pictures, if you're ever listening to this or any decision makers in that movie studio, please release the cut of this movie with the practical effects because that'd be fucking awesome.
Release the pilot cut, as it's been called.
Great. Okay.
PJ.
Yes.
Do you recommend?
I do. I recommend, I think it's a really good horror movie. I think if you detached it from The Thing, it'd be even better. I think with The Thing, it works very well. Like I said, I like all the references and the way it sets up its then predecessor, which is it's that bizarre prequel relationship. But I think it works very well for what it is. I wish that people that were in charge of studios were different. It's why I've always wished that people that make comic book movies were comic book fans. And then we got James Gunn and things are pretty great. And I do recommend it. One thing I will say is I only recommend it in this order. Don't watch this and then The Thing.
No.
Yes, it will answer questions before you have them. It's a little bit more streamlined. I think that viewing experience, you would be disappointed.
Oh, absolutely.
I think this is a nice little epilogue experience to The Thing. I think The Thing, no matter how good this movie is, that is the masterpiece. That is this is an hors d'oeuvre. That's the entree. This is your 40-pound steak that you're getting when you're seeing a terrible movie in theaters.
Yeah, no, it is a nice companion piece. I appreciate a good prequel when done well.
Sure.
But that is the thing that drives me the most insane when people will then say like, oh, well, I've never seen either of those movies. Should I watch that one first? And it's like, it doesn't matter what it is. The only reason that a prequel works is because of the predetermined, like the pre-knowledge that you have having watched the original of the thing.
Right.
That's the only way that it works. So to watch it in the order of, well, it's the prequel, I should watch that because it takes place beforehand. Even if it was released 20 years later, it's like, no, you are then going to ruin the experience of the original for yourself.
Right.
Because you're going to spoil everything that's interesting in that. All the mystery, all of the misdirect.
It is
Don't do
more
it.
fun. It is more fun to watch the questions to watch questions be laid out in front of you and to get the answers to those and then go back and see those answers in real time.
Yes.
Now, before we go, one thing I think that's important to note is that this episode is a week before, a little less by one day short of Christmas, which means that we will technically miss you guys for Christmas. We'll catch you the next day, but we won't see you on Christmas.
Yeah.
So for you and yours, whatever you celebrate, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to those who will be celebrating on Thursday. I feel like we should do something because we've had a dour holiday.
Yeah. I mean, we've covered nonstop for 2 months. It feels like just like apocalypse movie after apocalypse movie.
It's bad ending after bad
Oh
ending.
my God, they're just downers and downers.
There's Thanksgiving in the middle of all that, which is a downer for a much smaller group of people. But for ultimately, I feel like we deserve, or the fans deserve, a nice little treat for Christmas. So you, Derek, who makes our schedule, what did you have in mind for the folks at home to give them for Christmas?
Oh, well, what's the best Christmas movie that I can think of?
The greatest Christmas movie of all time?
Yeah. Something that I've loved and watched and cherished since I was a kid.
And arguably a Christmas movie.
Oh, like inarguably a Christmas movie.
Well, not Black Christmas because Bob Clark is a hack. Definitely none of the Silent Night, Deadly Nights because of Mickey Rooney.
Yeah, that's why.
Holy shit. You know what it should be?
Well, I mean, we already did Krampus, so
Gremlins.
Thanks for tuning into the Third Channel podcast. Please, if you have the time, rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast apps.
you can follow us on social media at Third Channel Podcast, and you can find me online at thatdrosenberg.
You can also reach out to us at thirdchannelpodcast@gmail.com, where we check every message we swear. Third Channel is hosted by PJ Minette
and Derek Rosenberg. Theme song and audio engineering by Fly Guy Ty.
The logo designed by Bell DeVelco.
Episode artwork by Nathan Walkington.
Keep it tuned right here to the Third Channel for all things horror. And remember, don't touch that dial.
Egg salad and eggs.